Which one?
The GoPro guy.
It's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
It's so funny.
Right, where's that? Have you sent that through, Halden?
Yeah, it should be on now.
How many of them do you need?
Says it's setting up the meeting.
People.
Can you forward it to me, Rich?
Can you not
That
send
link.
what? Yeah.
I've got
Lou, where are we talking to you from? Are you in Rayleigh?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm in Kent.
Okay.
Yeah. Where are you?
How's the weather down there?
You sent that.
You know what? We've had a proper like Halloween-esque storm down here.
Oh my god!
We
yeah.
had something similar earlier.
It was-
Where are you?
Absolutely thundering, and it was like before the screening in Sieges, it was doing the same thing, and I think maybe this is just the theme.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I missed the thunder again. I saw the rain though and the wind.
Yeah. Where are you two?
South London, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tooting fam.
Tooting Carmen.
Tooting fam.
Right.
Love tooting.
Right, you should have it now, Richard.
Thank you, I've got it.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks.
Cool, boys.
Oh
I send
don't
it to you?
You want to what?
Oh,
Are we open?
yeah.
Oh.
Kevin, where are you based?
Berwick upon Tweed, arse end of nowhere.
Oh, Berwick-on-Tweed, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Hey.
Come on, Tweed on the train as you go to Edinburgh. It's beautiful.
Oh, sweet.
Mention it a Tim Minchin song, so you know that makes it.
Oh, Tim Minchin's a legend.
Yeah.
Hello, Craig. You all right, mate?
Hey, Dan Lee, all right?
Yeah. You're very dark there, mate.
He's a little one.
You in the studio with the lights off?
Sorry, I'm sitting in my cinema.
Sorry, you could see him, but there's all the fans in the way, like trying to get out of the cinema.
Right.
Aww.
Oh, was she or she called Frank?
Oh.
Oh,
Big.
okay.
Frank, look. Snap.
Where?
Hey.
This is the next bit of taxidermy.
You heard that?
Oh,
I like it.
Frank, that's awful.
I like it at the end when it says taxidermy Frank Jakeman.
Where's your one-legged horse called Clip gone?
Oh.
Look at the size of this one.
Oh my god.
You said.
It looks just like her.
Nadia Lemon.
Lemon,
It
lemon.
Just going to try something quickly. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, we're on 11.
I haven't got a pet, but I've got.
People might start dropping off, going, where is everybody?
You have 5 children that you fostered.
for 2 weeks.
Are they waiting for us still, are they?
Well, there's people. There's 18 people in there at the minute waiting. So that's a
Start
good
letting them
start.
in now. Start
In
letting
the
them
chat, we've got Nadia Lemon, sup y'all, everybody. Yeah, okay,
I'm
okay.
Is
I'm
Joe
gonna mute-
Riley on it?
Yeah, he's in
Who's
there,
what?
yeah.
Oh, Joe, they're all in there waiting.
I'm going to mute everybody
Is
just
Tony
now.
Lane on
Do
it?
you know how to pin people as well, Kev? To pin like Adam and Sam and them lot up there. Do you know how to pin?
Neil, is Tony Lane on it?
We'll
I
figure
don't
it out.
know. He's probably still making that film that we're in.
Do you want me
It's
to
been
mute
14 years, isn't it? Like we made this film in a year and a half. Done.
I know.
Wash out. Selling. That's it. Cool.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Right. I'll mute everyone in a second. I'm just going to bring everyone in. Why are some people not unmuted?
I think they need to click unmute. Rich and Nadia, you
Yep.
got something saying unmute?
Yeah, a little thing just came up on mine saying unmute.
Yeah.
Right, I'm unmuted.
Frank and Lee, there you go. Right. Lee. Right. So let's just see what happens.
Here
Oh
we
my-
go.
Oh.
Whoa.
Hey, everybody.
Look.
Right. So everybody is muted just now. If you have any questions, if you could put it in the chat or whatever, I can pull you up and I can unmute you so you can ask any questions that you have. That's how we're going to roll tonight. We're here basically celebrate the movie coming out and being shown at FrightFest because these boys are super, super excited.
Oh, woo!
And ladies, I guess.
Oh yeah. There's us.
And we've got more coming in, so we'll just take another let's see what we've got there.
I think Rich and Nadia are you guys still muted?
No.
Oh,
There's a few people that are muted, and there's a few people
Shut
that
up.
aren't.
Shut up, Adam.
Get in the bin.
Get in the sea.
Get in the sea.
Like I said before to everybody, I don't have a particular format for this. We're just going to keep it loosey-goosey. We're going to talk about the movie a little bit. You guys must be absolutely pumped that it's been shown in the UK and FrightFest no less. So that is absolutely amazing.
It's nuts, man.
Incredible.
Finally, it's been a year and a half journey that we've been waiting. It's been waiting for this day for year and a half, I guess, nearly 2 years. 2 years in. When did we start writing it, Rich? It was like
November, so yeah, 2 years.
2 years, man. 2 years. Look at all these people.
It's an absolute madness, man. It's an absolute madness. I remember back in the day just watching you guys on YouTube doing your thing and bringing out your Bear Yeet videos and everything. And then all of a sudden it's like, guys, we're making our feature debut.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Made a movie.
Made a movie.
We made a movie.
Made a movie.
I mean, you've made something.
We've made
Meow.
Jokes. It's jokes. I mean,
Did you put your phone down once?
is it as good as this one? I'm not sure.
it's
debatable.
It's debatable, definitely.
24 hours in London. So look at all these people. Quirks.
I know.
Emma Green, hello. Hello, Joe. Gillen, what's up, dude? Matt Cartner, how's it going?
Hey.
Tanya! I know Tanya, she's one of my school friends.
Oh, hello.
We got Joe Riley in the room. Hello, Joe Riley.
Oh, hey, Joe.
I think Susan's dead. Whoever was
Susan
the
B.
film that
Is
bad.
that her name or is that?
Dan, mate, you look cinematic as shit.
Wow. Damn,
Look at
people.
that. I wish my
Oh,
cinematography
sorry,
was as good as this camera.
I can't
You
see
taught him
it.
well, Rich. You taught him well.
Oh, it's Sean.
What up, Sean?
Look at his face. Sean, are
suppose
you
it's,
wearing your Shaunsies?
I'm just admiring Dan. That's my night done. I'm just
See,
staring
the
at Dan.
guy, everyone take note. The guy over there, almost bottom left, low key films. That's Sean, and he was Rich's camera op in the what was it? Second camera op. What's the official word?
No, he was first AC, first assistant camera and cam op.
Yeah.
Dude with a wicked beard.
The
and
beard.
Mexican
I like
food out.
to call him the beard.
I just want to take this opportunity to thank all 30 of the people that are in the room at the moment that have taken the time to come and sit with us for however long this will take or however long you've got. And thank you all for coming in.
Yeah.
I know it's quite late. I know I speak for all of us that it's been incredible response for you guys that are coming in and wanting to talk to us. So hopefully we can answer as many of your questions as possible. And to the people on YouTube as well, if you've got any questions, fire them in on there, and I can alert Kevin, our lovely host from 365 and Nerdly tonight, as to get your questions answered.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds like you should be the host, Christ.
Yeah, I think you've still.
Well, we did debate this.
That was super professional. Jesus,
I can be when I want to be.
I wasn't ready for Graham Norton over there.
More like Alan Carr.
Right, so I'm going to start with a very again, everybody who's in the room as well, with the chat bar at the side, if you have a question, you can throw it in there. Let me know if you've got something you want to ask. I will unmute your mic if you want me to, and we'll do it that way as well. You guys can ask yourselves, because what better way to be part of this whole thing than ask the question yourself? So we'll do that as well. But I am going to start with a cheeky little question, because the movie has just screened FrightFest Virtual, which is absolutely phenomenal. How many times have you guys refreshed your feed?
100 already.
Yeah.
Do you mean on the showing? Because my internet went down for half the film.
I'd probably
'Cause,
say 36 times since the film
Yeah,
ended.
like
Yeah.
every
Very
few,
precise.
for the past 2 years.
37. Yeah.
There's a lot of love coming in, though. There's a lot of love coming in on the Twitter, and I'm going to have a little look through it, and I'm going to, I might read out some of the bits and pieces and everything like that. But I mean, you were getting love anyway from the podcast, as in the review and everything. But it's great to finally have been shown in the UK, and the UK audience has taken to it, and the FrightFest audience, no less.
For sure, man.
I think
Yeah, I was
it felt
terrified going into it, and I was just like, seen a couple of films. I feel sorry for them. I've been proper slammed at FrightFest, and I was like, oh, we're going to be one of them, aren't we? And thankfully, so far, it's not. Which is
Well, I think all of us felt a little bit different tonight because it was a virtual premiere, not a live premiere with all the the whole live event stuff. But it felt so different, and all of us felt a little bit more. I don't know, maybe like but also a bit nervy because it's also people that we know and love can watch it, and people at home are watching it, whereas we saw it twice in Sitges, but obviously that's not our home turf.
That was terrible. I was terrified, like having to sit in a cinema in a foreign country last week, like
with a mask on.
Don't get me wrong,
which we kept on the entire time.
Which we kept on the entire time.
I just say you smashed the Spanish pronunciation, Adam. By the way, I watched the video back because obviously I wasn't there. It was amazing, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that was nerve-wracking. But like sitting there with like your best friends, like that you made a film together is great. But having to sit there in a cinema with like as soon as the first credits started rolling, I don't know about you guys, but I was bricking it, man. Like having to sit there with a Spanish people.
I wasn't terrified. You see, like when I'm in an audience with people I don't know from Adam, it's kind of like I don't care. I'm fine. But when I know, for me tonight, like knowing that my friends and family and watching this film, I was very nervous.
Loads of them have been asking for ages, how can we watch it, so it's kind of been a bit more of a build because it's been a bit delayed here.
I think the nerves were different between here and Sitges. I think here is our home turf, so it's really important, and I think that was really important that we get it right, whereas Spain was kind of like, it was awesome to be there, and it was a different experience. And it was a different thing because sat in the cinema when you've got it massive and there's an audience there of people you don't know. I think I was judging the film myself more than going, I wish we'd done that better. I wish we'd done that better. I wish we'd done that better. And like just feeling really like down about the film. But I didn't feel that tonight. I was kind of just like hoping that my friends, and I say family, but none of my family are interested in watching it. Rouge's family are, and they're here tonight. But
so we've got a couple of comments coming in on the chat there. We've got a Sarah Cook saying hello, love the film, guys. Sammy says, hey guys, congratulations on the movie.
Hey Sammy.
Daniel Keeble has a question. Daniel, do you want to ask the question yourself and I'll unmute you, or do you just want me to read it out for you? No, I'll just read it out for you, pal. So it says, Daniel Keeble says, hi guys, cracking film. Can I ask what films influenced the look of Hosts?
The look or the overall vibe? Just the cinematography?
The cinematography, the look of it.
I'm not sure what film. I mean, obviously we like The Shining. I think had a lot of influence with like the corridor and the wallpaper and that kind of vibe. We wanted a very kind of, this is getting all a bit techie now for you, Dan, but like we wanted a very tungsten kind of look to make it feel more antique, even though it's set kind of now and contemporary. And we wanted it to feel like the family were kind of stuck in a time gone by. So I think the tungsten, the orange light kind of felt more like that, rather than making it all kind of cold and desaturated and typical horror. We didn't want that. We wanted a warm kind of family vibe, but that ends up being quite claustrophobic with that kind of color. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I mean, it makes no sense to me, but I'm hoping you guys it does. You said tungsten. I'm like, what?
Orange. For the layman.
Oh, that
the lemon.
For the
Nadia Layman.
Lemon.
And we've got a Daniel Mazin there. I can't see his camera, so I don't know if he's going to want to ask the question himself, but I'll just put it out there. So this will be towards the actors. So Neil, Sam, Frank, Lee, and Nadia. So, how did you get into acting professionally? And we will start with because we know Neil likes to talk. We'll start there.
Oh wow. Okay. You've stumped me there. I suppose the main reason was I wasn't good at anything else when I was growing up. I was a bit of a coaster during school, was it sort of in and out of sort of petty trouble, and had a bit of a mouth on me even back then. And just being able to do things in drama and just sort of be something that I wasn't, and let sort of like a release out was something that I found to be quite enjoyable, and was also sort of quite good at, supposedly. So I just sort of followed it from there, really. I changed my woodwork exam for my GCSE to drama because my friend ran up and told me that, hey, why are you doing woodwork? It's like a 4-hour exam. You can come and swear in class and just make fun of the teacher, and then you get an A. So that's what I did. And then I just sort of followed the dream, really. And nothing beats being on a set or being on stage. When I was younger, nothing beat that feeling. Even to this day, alcohol can't do anything as near as much as being on set and performing. So I pretty much started there, and that's my story. I carried on, and I'm here now in this amazing film.
Awesome. And Nadia, you want to take over from there?
Oh, wasn't expecting that. So I started drama little club when I was around 11, and literally from then on, I think I was 15. Through that drama club, I got onto the Centrinians feature film that was the remake with Colin Firth and Rupert Everett, and that was like my first experience on a film set. So from then on, I was just obsessed. And then I went to college, and then I got into drama school, and then the rest is kind of history. You just audition, you get connections with, people, and I got to meet Rich, got to meet Adam, and all sorts of filmmakers who were willing to put me in their stuff. And I've been very lucky with this project. And
Love.
You ruined my podcast with this whole thing. So stop it. Stop.
I thought you were going to get
It's proper wet, isn't it?
Sorry.
It's a bit of a, like this is what I was saying, like the whole post production became a bit of a family, and a lot of jokes, and that's kind of one of them, just the whole.
And Samantha, you came onto this movie later than everyone else. You were 24 hours before the movie was starting to shoot. So how did you get into the industry, and how did you come into this film?
Yes, you are right. It was about a day, maybe about 36 hours before, but kind of late, if we can't sleep. But I think Lee was also quite late coming into it. We're both kind of in the same boat there with coming to set on late notice and stuff. Which was actually great because for anyone that's also an overthinker, you have less time to think about something, the more work you get done, right? But when it comes to how I got into sort of acting and the industry and stuff, I guess talking from like school days, my whole family, like all of them, like grandparents down to like cousins, everyone, we're all medical. They're all doctors or pharmacists or physiotherapists or surgeons or something. And I was like a massive science nerd, and I still love it. I mean, we even watched a documentary about mammoths before the film aired.
Nice.
I'm not bragging. I'm just,
It definitely sounded like a brag.
Oh, those woolly elephants. But they'll get you. But no, so I was always going to be a vet because I loved medicine. I loved like chemistry and sciences and everything. And all through school, that was kind of what I loved, and I was, mildly good at it. But I had also really loved drama and theatre, and not only like doing the physical stuff, but I also loved the study of it. And when it came to crunch time, with A levels and university and everything. It was really apparent to me that this isn't a hobby. This isn't something that I would like to do on the weekends, or I don't want to be in the village panto at the end of the year. Not that those are bad, those are great, but it's like this was much more of a job to me than anyone of my family knew, or anything that I'd ever known. So I didn't really even know that drama school existed, and neither did any of my family. So I kind of had to, like after school, had a bit of time out and sort of really focus on it and get in. And luckily, somehow I got in and I studied for 3 years. And since then I've been like every other actor, you know, in and out of work, doing other jobs to survive. And that's kind of how it is, but I'm still a massive nerd. But it's you know, I think a lot of people that want to do this don't really have much idea of what drama schools are, what it involves, or how to get in. And I mean, for some people there's a real process, and if you don't really know about it, it can be really tough. You know, it's as if anyone else didn't know that universities existed. You know, you sort of have to figure it all out. And I mean, I'm talking back into the dark ages before the internet, so I kind of had to go to my local library and look up, you know, books and stuff about how to do it rather than just Google it. But yeah, that's.
You're talking about the dark ages. What about Frank Jakeman when he was training for drama school?
Neil.
He's another fellow E15er.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Frank.
There was a worry. There was a worry at the beginning of my career. When the talkies came in, I was worried my voice wasn't going to work properly for them.
It didn't work on host either, did it?
And by the way, Neil, you totally stole my segue there, you bastard.
Sorry, mate. I'm at one with you as a co-hosty kind of thing tonight.
So Lee, a little bit about how you got in, and then we'll move on, pal.
Yeah, sure. So I was probably a bit similar to Neil, really. At about 14, 15, I always wanted to be a professional footballer growing up, to be honest with you. I love that kind of team collaboration and being part of a team, and that was what I sort of was stimulated by. But I was a bit naughty at school as well. I got suspended when I was 15, and the one person that stuck by me was my drama teacher, and he gave me a focus, put me in the after school plays and things like that, and persuaded the headmaster to let me stay on for sixth form. And he got me to apply for drama schools. I was lucky enough to get into a couple. That's how it all started for me, and I loved it, and I had a passion for it, and it gave me a focus and stopped me being a bit of a rascal, really. So that's how I started off, and my love for it's grown since. And I love the fact that I've chosen a career that I never really know what's going on and what I'm doing, and I'm always learning. I love the fact that I'm always learning and hopefully getting better.
So we've got some more in the chat. We've got so many people sending me pictures of my cameo. That's from Loki Films. So who did Loki Films play in the movie? What was the cameo?
That's the guy in the hat with all the fish tank around him. Who did he play? Give us a wave.
Sean, unmute your mic.
Where is he?
Loki Films.
There you go.
How did you find being star of the show, dude?
I'm not exactly the star, am I? But I got to play alongside Nadia, didn't I? So.
The star of the woods.
He gave me a really pretty smile.
Showed all my teeth. I've had so many people like sending me shots of that over, and just going, I knew you was first AC, but I didn't know you was in the film. I was like, nope, kept that quiet. I haven't told anyone.
You didn't know you were in the film, did you? Till we went, come on. Do you want to get it?
Asked me to get naked.
Yeah, I have this thing that like there were a couple of occasions in the films where I wanted like I wanted Sean in the woods just strip naked, because like it's weird, and I also wanted the people that you see at the window. I wanted them to get naked as well, because it's weirder. It's so much weirder. But yeah, we decided against it because some of those people were relatives. So no one needs that.
It's weird. I'd just like to say, I was going to do it when you asked. I said, if it's important for the shot, I'll get naked.
Well, let's go reshoot.
We did get the sound guy naked in the Christmas present giving scene behind the Christmas tree.
There was a cut that didn't make it. We just deleted it because it didn't really work. But there was a bit where Neil's character Jack comes back in after he searches in the garden, and there originally was going to be someone actually from that kind of cult sort of group of people that you see out the window later in the film standing there that he doesn't see. but it didn't really work with this. Is something we wanted to experiment with and try, and it didn't really work with the story, so we cut it. But yeah, that was Wayne, and that was our sound guy, who I don't think he's with us tonight anymore. But yeah, and I said to him, I was like, Wayne, can you take your top off, please? He was like, whoa, what? We're like, yeah, just take it off and stand in the corner. And then I think I asked him, I was like, can you get naked or can you just strip to your to your boxers? And he was like, no. Like, yeah.
And he
just wanted everyone naked.
It's someone you don't want to annoy, is it?
Yeah, we don't want to annoy Wayne, but I think we annoyed him enough on set.
It's like he's got the equivalent of like a gladiator cotton bud to like hit you with if he's annoyed. So.
Yeah.
There was someone naked in the film, though.
There was, wasn't there?
There was one cameo of a naked person, and I think it kind of bit him back from asking everyone else to be naked. But I don't know if anyone noticed, but when Neil is in the shed with his torch and you see a little something run past the window, that's actually butt naked Adam on all fours running like a dog in the background.
No, but there was a funny story for that. Like when we went to shoot that, it was me, Rich behind the camera. I think we had Gillen and Craig, both our producers, with us, and Neil. So like, there's a few of us in the garden, and it's pretty cold. And I'm like, right, okay, Rich is all set up, and he's all right. The camera's set. You ready, Adam? So I'm like, yeah, can you all just like turn around? So like everyone turned around, and all you can hear, all these guys must have heard was just rustling of like clothes and stuff, which I found really funny. And then I was like, just keep your backs turned. So everyone had their backs turned to me while I'm stripping naked in Gillen's garden, which is where we shot that outdoor scene. And then I said, guys, just keep your backs turned. So everyone had their backs turned apart from Rich, who had to shoot me, bless him. I think you've got a bunch of footage, just B-roll footage.
I know you think that.
Zoomed in. Not much, not a lot of time.
4K.
There's actually 3 cameos of Adam in the film, and I think there's a game that we could play of like spot Adam in hosts.
Yeah.
One of them.
Mobile phone. You play 3 different people, don't you?
So you got naked Adam.
Then
you got mobile phone Adam.
You got the boyfriend on the phone.
And the handbag advert on the TV.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, we've got a message off the YouTube here. We got a comment from Jenny Fee. I'm probably ruining that, but I guess this is towards the film. Well, everyone really, but how long did hosts take to shoot from start to finish?
It was initially scheduled for 8 days. We ran over by 2 days, and we were initially meant to shoot in January, but being indie film, we got delayed till April, and then we tried shooting the external scenes, 2 days of the external scenes in April.
This is last year.
And it was like meant to be Christmas Day, but there was like butterflies, flowers, everything. It was like, and we're like, okay, this ain't working. We got to reshoot this in the winter. So we waited 6 months to shoot another 2 days. So I think it ended up, can't remember, between 10 and 12 days. And we scheduled to shoot in January, then 2020.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was the coldest day of 2020. So these girls in very, very skimpy dresses out in the woods in minus degrees when all the equipment is just getting broken because it's frozen.
Yeah, like even the caterer's generator gave in after a while, didn't it?
And I think we had to respray our costumes with like the fake blood. And bless Kate is like there, and Kate Griffith. So she's our SFX like artist, and she was like spraying all this like fake blood, and like the clothes were hanging on the van. And I think we came back to Sam's, and it was frozen solid. So
onto the side of the van, like, having to peel it off. Yeah.
Oh. That was fun, though.
She went to do some makeup on you, Nadia, and she pulled the brush out of the pot, and the whole pot came out on the brush.
It was like a little
just
lollipop.
frozen into this absolute round boy. I think you described it as this round boy of a pot of makeup that just came out, and she was like, "Can't use this. I'll just sit with it for a while."
It was really funny. It was.
So, I'm gonna stick on that vein for a quick second with the director's question, because I got one sent to me earlier from a Brian Melka. I believe you guys know this guy. I believe Adam knows him. And the question that he asked me was that he wanted to know, with many movies having two people co-directing, especially in the horror genre, what are the pros and cons to this approach, and how did it influence the development of hosts? So basically, Richard and Adam co-directing together.
I mean, there's always pros and cons to it, but to be honest, like Rich and I just were lucky enough to have the pros. It was great. Like we're
just pros, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it was. We were both really nervous, like leading up to the shoot, because we both agreed, and like that Rich would focus on everything behind camera, blocking scenes, and this, that, and the other, and framing, and everything in that respect, and that I would focus with face to face with the actors, and in terms of how we want them to deliver things and how we, I guess, envision that. So the responsibilities were split between us, and we were worried that we would cross wires and maybe argue at points and stuff. And we had a code word for that, which was dinner plates. And I'll maybe explain that story another time. It's kind of, people might get offended if we explain what it is. Someone might, but they're not here, so it's all right. But yeah, we never ever had to use that phrase once. Like we just got on like a house on fire, and I'd do my thing, and then Rich would say, "Cool, what about this?" And I'd go, "Yeah, cool." And then he'd do his thing, and I'd say, "What about this?" And like we both kind of crossed with it, and it was great. It was just awesome. So all the next films will be exactly like that.
I think some of the cast actually was saying to us that they, which was really nice. They were like, "This is working so well. Why don't more people do it this way?"
Yeah.
Which we find really, nice, isn't it?
So I've got a question in here from Trevor Speed. Trevor, would you like to jump on and ask the question yourself, or?
Yeah, go on, Trevor.
Hi, Trevor.
Right, I'll unmute him then.
Yeah, let's get some people involved. You live, Trev?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Trevor.
Hey, Trevor.
Great film, by the way. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
I've been watching like the Dark Fable YouTube and stuff, so I'm kind of aware a bit about the behind the scenes and how Richard and that work. So I'm aware it's shot in your house, and I just wanted to know, how did Richard get through like 2 or more weeks of night shoots with like a family home life, like shooting at night and then up in the morning to like make breakfast and do the school run and stuff?
Well, luckily we have homeschooled kids, so there was no school run, and they were just booted out of the house for 2 weeks, and we paid for them to go camping for 2 weeks, so that made it easier. But they did come home to their house completely annihilated and completely drenched in blood, which you still find now and again when we're having a tidy. We'll find bits of blood behind a radiator or here and there, and yeah, it's pretty funny.
I think it was about
Tanya's iPhone waving. I feel like she wants to say something.
Okay, here we go. Unmuted.
All right, Tanya.
Hey, Tanya.
She's still muted.
She's still muted.
I think she has to go. I think she was just waving goodbye. But
I think
bye.
Love you, Tanya.
Bye, Tanya.
Tanya. Awesome. Anyway.
Following on from what you were saying, I think it was like day 3 or something, and I'd only just met these guys on like day 1, and we'd all been doing night shoots and really busy, and I turned up to set, and then Rich comes out probably with a little coffee, and I'm like, "How you doing, Rich?" And he was like, "Well, I'm okay, but I have to live in this." He was like pointing back to the massacre that was his house.
Do you remember the neighbor? We've got a neighbor that's like 70, 80 years old, and she came over. She just wandered over in the middle of the night, and there's all production lights outside shining moonlight into the house, and she was like, "Are you making a film?" Yeah, and she was like, "Well, are you used to make films in my day. And we're like, come in. And she just walks through this massacre. It had just blood everywhere. There was bits of brains on the carpet and all this stuff. And she was like, wow, this is amazing. This is really nice.
We were this close to actually knocking on her door and asking if she wanted to be one of the people in the garden.
Amazing.
Hey, do you want to get naked?
Yeah. we didn't.
Rich's lovely wife actually turned up to set, and she was there, and we were all, when we weren't shooting, we were like, we're so sorry for the mess, and oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's got to be made. It's great.
I've got the best wife in the world. Honestly.
She was amazing.
She is the best wife in the world.
So much crap.
We love you, Rue.
We love Rue.
Props for Rue.
So I've got a cheeky little message here from Adam Spring as well. Adam, do you want to come in and ask this question, or are you okay?
Come on in, Adam. Come on in.
He's coming in anyway.
Come on.
Everybody's coming in.
Come on, Adam. Where are you?
Press that unmute button.
Hey guys. I don't know if you can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey Adam, yeah, we can hear you, buddy.
Right. I have a 4-year-old upstairs.
Okay,
whisper.
Whisper like Lucy.
I just wondered where the idea came from. Actually, quite a simple question, really.
My idea. So me and Rich were both ready to. We'd already written a film. Myself, Rich, and Nadia. We all wrote another film, but it's the budget we want for it is like really, really high. It deems quite a high budget. So we thought we need to focus on doing something smaller in terms of budget first, in order to open doors for us so we can do the bigger films, right? Which is how everyone does it, I guess. So we were ready to do it, but I guess nothing had sort of happened just yet. And I was sitting at home one evening with my ex, and she turns around and starts complaining of seeing a blue orb at the window in the bottom left, which changed to the bottom right for camera purposes. So
you don't have to pay or anything for the royalties.
Nah. So she's like, oh, I saw something in the window, and I'm like, huh? She's like, yeah, this blue light in the window. It's like a glowing orb. So I'm like, okay, I'll go and check it out. So I went into the kitchen, grabbed a knife because I was scared. Went into the garden and just scoped it out, and nothing was there. So I came back inside, got on the phone to Rich straight away, and I was like, dude, this explain what happened. I said, this could be a cool opener or just a scene in a film. So he was like, yeah, man, that sounds cool. So we spent the whole night just storyboarding on this like Google Doc, what scenes and like the most weird and gruesome and wonderful ideas we could think of, like into a rough storyboard. And then the next day I just went away and wrote the first draft of the script in, I think it was about 10 days, which surprised me because I'd never written a script before. So, apart from with Rich and Nadia, but on my own, I'd never done it. So yeah, I went away and wrote the script, and over the next few months, which this was at the end of 2018. 2018. And then over the next few months, me and Rich just developed it together and tweaked bits, added bits, took away and whatnot. And then, yeah, here we are today, shocking people, hopefully. Yeah.
I do have a question on the script as well, because I wanted to know, it's a little bit of spoiler territory, which I'm assuming is going to be okay. But there is a certain scene in the movie where you guys have built up a certain hatred towards a certain character, and Samantha, I'm looking at you. You guys have done this all the way through the movie. I'm sort of sitting there like, I don't like this character. She is an awful, awful person, obviously because of things. But then right before Nadia does what she does, there's a quick flip. And all of a sudden, you cannot hate that character anymore. But, oh man, was that originally in the script? Like, did you come up with that straight away, or did that come along later?
I'm really sorry, but you've been so ambiguous. I don't know what the hell you're talking.
It's the scene where Nadia basically takes you out.
Yeah, when the
spirit. I'm sorry. It was like, you know, when the thing happens with the thing. I'm
trying not to be too spoilery, but
no, I know. It's just I'm like, I could answer you, but I'd be talking absolute waffle. You know,
you're back to normal.
So it is the end.
Was it in the script originally? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. Yeah. But it's interesting you say. Go on, Rich. Sorry.
No, I don't know if it was in like draft one, but it was definitely in the script when we were shooting it. Definitely, like It was definitely something that we felt was just made it more harrowing. And I
Well,
think the interesting question is whether Nadia knew and whether it mattered.
Yeah.
I said that the other day. I don't personally. I don't think Nadia's character, Lauren, knew.
I think also when just as I'm strangling Lee, just before he dies, he goes normal as well.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
I don't think you're aware of it.
I think that even if there was a glimmer of a change that we noticed, we're too far gone within our character, like as in our arc and the emotion and everything that we've been through. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. Doesn't matter at all.
Like as if we saw it, even in like a second, maybe we noticed a change. But I think, especially for Frank, who plays Michael, like everything is just too far gone. He's like, it's not my son, and you're not who you are, and it doesn't matter because you've just done this to us.
Yeah.
So like,
you've already done what you've done. You have to take responsibility for it.
The problem is, though, Nadia. The problem is, I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what?
Kevin, I'm afraid that bitch had to go down.
It's interesting you say that, Kev, because about hating, I guess, Lucy and Jack so much up until the light leaves Lucy and whatever. But for me, man, like a few people as well, we've talked about this, and I feel sorry for them. Even you love them at first, right? They're such a loving couple and stuff, and then, but I feel sorry for them when they're possessed because, and that is like just props to Sam and Neil as actors, because even though they're being forced to do these things by this entity, whatever it is, right? That you like for us, and like I think Rich feels the same way. It's like they're still in there. The normal guys are still in there, but they are powerless to do anything. It's like having sleep paralysis, which I actually get occasionally, and it's horrible. But they're powerless to do anything. So while they're doing all these horrible acts, like I feel sorry for them, and they're able to portray that just through their eyes because they're such amazing actors. Like you can see the malice and the sadisticness, but you can also see this sorrow and pain in them, and just desperately wanting to get out, especially when Sam's delivering that harrowing monologue to Ben in the bedroom.
You're horrible in that scene.
Yeah.
Just got to point this out. Like Dan Keeble looks like he's playing out his own drama in his.
I know, I can't stop looking at him.
It's like an episode of The Crown.
Are you filming on it? Like, what is it?
Camera. I wish I was that good a cinematographer.
I know, but I think coming in close second is Rich and Nadia with the antlers in the background.
Yeah, they're
on set, legit
on set. Yeah. Can I just say, Dad? I haven't had a chance to say it. I forgive you. It's okay.
Do you forgive me, bro?
No, never.
Oh, snap! Mic drop from Lee. Yeah.
So I've got a question in the chat here from Charles Anderson. He doesn't have a camera on, so I can't really see if he wants to ask it himself. So I'll
turn him on, see what's happening. Turn him on, see what's happening.
I'll unmute him. Oh no,
he's happy to.
He's there. There he is. Let's get Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Hello, Charles.
Hey.
Press that unmute, pal.
Oh, if you press the unmute button, then we'll be able to.
Lovely bookcase, Charles.
Fantastic bookcase.
Hey, Charles.
It's full of horror stuff, of course.
Good lad.
Nice.
No, my question is the effects by Kate. She was brilliant stuff, especially the first brutal death, which was amazingly shocking. I must admit, I went brutal. I said. How did you find her? I know she's done a few. I looked on IMDb when I was researching.
Kate's an absolute legend. She's incredible, and she not only is she amazing at her job. She's like everyone in this team. She kept. It was very difficult because it was night shoots, and it was back-to-back night shoots, and there was a lot of fatigue going on, and people. And she was one of the people that not only was amazing at her job, but she was amazing at keeping morale up and keeping everyone going. Yeah. She's just a beautiful human being.
Yeah. Myself and Frank had worked with Kate previously on a film together, which is where the guys had sort of heard about Kate, and she'd worked with literally sort of shoestring budgets and putting things together last minute, and does incredibly well with her own craft, and she's been doing incredibly well for the last several years. I mean, Frank knew her before I did, and that's why how I met Kate and sort of
we did Christmas Sleigh. I met her on a film we did in Bulgaria called Christmas Sleigh, and she did all the blood and gore on that.
She's done a lot of things if you look at the beta days. So, you know.
The beta days. Beta days. She's been on Wolverine, I think. She was special effects on Wolverine. She'd done bits and bobs.
She did my wedding video.
You needed a lot of special effects for that,
mate. But your wife looked beautiful and didn't need any kind of makeup or special effects. You, on the other hand, but no, touching back on Kate, she's I think when we approached her, we sort of said, look, we don't have sort of so much money to sort of give you all the money in the world to make things as well as we'd want you to with budgets, but what she pulled out the bag was absolutely incredible. I mean, just from one scene that got me in one shot, when I walk away with the mother on the table, it haunts me because the
sound effects are brilliant on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the eyeballs.
Practical effects are always going to win. I think most people from our era, over, because the CGI nowadays is just it doesn't work for me. I just recently watched The Witches, the new one, and it's
no.
Everything.
I don't want to.
I'm not going to tell any spoilers in 10 seconds. Don't worry. But it's awful. It's just
quite difficult to kind of do the hitting on the special effects, thinking what you were actually doing if you were doing it in real life. So it must have been
she did make a proper, but she knows her anatomy. Okay? She does a lot of blood effects and special effects, so she knows, what blood spatters suit certain wounds and stuff. And that might sound a bit grotesque, but it's totally relevant. Like heads don't have arteries in, but necks do. So that's the kind of thing that the detail she paid attention to. So wherever I hit, she would correspond the spatter to that. Do you know what I mean? And she also made an incredibly hard prosthetic Cassie. Am I doing loads of spoilers?
No, everyone here has probably seen it. So
okay.
Yeah, hopefully.
He's
not seen it.
You made a very, very tough shell, Cassie, because she also made the body for Frank's, polystyrene.
Can I tell my story?
Yeah, but she made this head, which was really hard. So for me to go at it, you really have to go at it because it wouldn't just smash. You really had to, go hell for leather with it. And but she would made that. She made the scars in the freezing woods. She made the cuts and that for Nadia and I, even though the stuff was freezing.
She made the sandwiches.
And she kept me so warm on that January shoot. She literally put a blanket over my entire body and was just like, "Are you okay?"
I remember speaking to about the infamous scene, and she was like, "So what kind of effect do you want? How do you want the end product?" And I was like, "Just flat." And she was like, "Flat?" And I was like, just flat." And she was like, "Flat." And I'm like, flat.
I had to keep smashing to the point where I thought, because there was hair and eyeballs and stuff everywhere.
And potatoes.
Yeah, and a wine glass, which actually I didn't smash any glasses. Just heads. But there was one point where I stopped and I thought it was a tooth sticking out from between the hair. It was actually the dinner plate underneath that I'd smashed so much that it had risen up through the head and it was poking through. And I was like, I think I'm done.
Here's a very quick bit of cool information for you, Charles, about the effects. Now, Kate came in and had made, so the tooth pull scene, right? Gotta say it.
Yeah.
Kate made 2 teeth for Sam to pull out, and
wisdom teeth,
wisdom teeth, and they were great. She'd done such a good job, and we feel quite bad for this. She's done such an amazing job on this, and she came in and showed me and Rich, and we were like, awesome, that's great. But then Sam read the script, and she was like, oh, Adam, can I talk to you for a second? She came up to me and said, I've got my wisdom teeth at home, because they got pulled out, right? And her dad had like kept them for her, like, you know, it's like a memento, and put them on a necklace. So it got to that day of shoot, or that night of shooting the scene, and luckily it was the day before was Sam had a day off. She wasn't shooting that day, so she got to go home and see her family and stuff. So I had a reminder in my phone to send Sam a text message that day saying, please remember to bring your wisdom teeth back to set. All right. So the teeth you see in that scene that she pulls out and gives to Buddy Skelton, the guy that plays Ben, are her wisdom teeth.
Nice. We're going to move on to a question from Dan Thomas here.
Guys,
looking at yeah, cool. Thank you very much, Charles. I don't know why I'm saying thank you, but so Dan Thomas doesn't have a camera or a microphone, it doesn't look like, so I'll ask the question for him. And the question is, you are all clearly have such a fantastic relationship. Are there any plans to work on another project together?
You mean Host 2? Yeah, definitely. Host 2, definitely happening.
We're going to do a prequel called Host.
Definitely have a horse.
We're doing a prequel called Host. That's
you
what
you absolutely should.
This is the prequel that we're recording right now.
Yeah, you're all part of it.
You're all part of the prequel. Host by Zoom. No one's ever thought of that idea yet, so we're hoping no one does it.
Wait, what's that? Oh god.
I guess I didn't really want to go down this road, but has that thrown up obstacles for you guys releasing this movie at all?
Yes.
The fact that your names are very similar.
Not at all.
I don't think so. At all. I think I've seen it. Sam's seen it. I think a few of the others have seen it. And I think
it was good.
I think it's massively impressive.
We've got no hate for it. I think it's a good film. And
yeah,
we agree that it's done.
Certainly.
Yeah, it's a great film.
It's
but
unfortunate.
It's so different.
It's so different. It is unfortunate.
They are so different.
But
yeah,
the title is like you were saying.
It's unfortunate that the titles are similar. But I don't think they have any effect on us, or we have any effect on them in terms of negative or anything.
No, not at all.
They've done a fantastic job doing something in such a short amount of time as well, you know, to hit the whole lockdown hype. Not that that's the right word.
They did it in a good way. And I think, you know, there's been so many films over the last few years called Room, The Room, Rooms, Room, The Room.
Only one of them is good, right?
Tommy Wiseau represent.
But there's a new film out called The Room, which isn't that. But then there's Room, Rooms, Rooms, The Rooms.
And maybe Room Service after that.
But to be honest, I'd watch The Room again and again, and it makes me feel better about myself.
I think there was a lot of films. Again, even we didn't just have Host that was around. We had
there was a couple others as well.
We had The Host as well, and then there's that complete classic, the film The Host, which was the horror film with the big giant squiddy looking thing, which was
that with
there was another The Host this year as well.
Yeah, another British film called The Host. And I think when the zeitgeist gets involved, when there's so many good ideas flying about, I mean, the guys had this written like 2 years before it was released and put out there, and then obviously Host came about quite quickly and in quick succession of, can you do it, can you get it done, here it is, let's get it out. So I don't think there's any there was nothing there. It was just sort of unlucky timing, I suppose. I mean, we were heavily blessed, I think, with the film and what Rich and Adam had done with approaching distributors and people that would have been able to put this on a platform, this film, and the guys managed to get into those people because of the problems we were experiencing with the pandemic and stuff like that. So there was people opening up doors that doors would have been firmly shut. And the guys, I know Adam and Rich spent ages and hours emailing every single person under the sun that was involved with production, distribution, some big, huge names that actually got back to them and absolutely dug what they'd done, thought it was incredible, but may have not gone that way. And what happened then was obviously they found Dark Sky, which completely embodied everything that they'd done with the film, and then managed to push the film out to what you're seeing now. And it's the reason we're in the FrightFests and Sieges and things like that. And that comes about with people with passion and drive to do those things. And the ceiling isn't the limit for Rich and Adam. And I'll let them guys talk about why this got where it was, because those guys don't let up. They don't stop. Even when we had 18-hour days or 15-hour days and 10 days of night shoots, the guys didn't compromise anything. It was, we're not quite happy with that because of whether it looks right or whether a scene didn't go to plan. Everything is made and was done properly, and they wouldn't stop. And that's the reason this film is in FrightFest, and it's the reason it's gone so far on the budgets we had and on the restraints that the boys had. So sorry to interject with that, but it needs to be said to the people watching.
The ceiling is definitely not the limit, which is why we had an attic scene. So
exactly. Also, people also think that the garage scene is a basement, which is great because then it's a 3-story sort of house, isn't it?
It's really a 3-story bungalow for sure.
Yeah.
So
and the girl was on the 3rd floor.
I like that.
Dark Sky reference there.
So we got a question from Daniel Maz here as well, asking if you guys ever got scared while filming Hosts. I guess that's a no.
We did have a few things. I can't remember what they were. I kind of wish I wrote them down, but I felt like we were entering kind of like, you know, when you see on set, like sets of like, what's it called? My brain's gone. Like classic horrors, and they're like all these stories of things going wrong, but a lot of stuff started going a bit weird at the beginning. Adam, do you remember what they were? There was something in the bathroom, like the pictures that I had in the bathroom kept falling off the walls.
Yeah.
And
there was another one. But this happened before we started shooting. But there was someone that, I mean, Sam's character Lucy, right? I mean, she's harrowing, completely harrowing, and you know, unsettling. There was someone that auditioned previous to Sam for the part, and I can't say her name, obviously.
I just realised what you're talking about.
She was great. Like she was great. It wasn't quite what we were looking for, so she didn't get the part in the end, obviously, because Sam did. But before we got back to her saying yay or nay, it was me and Rich were at Rich's one night, as we were as usual on the weekends, shooting episodes for the YouTube channel and continuing with the host's script and pre-production and whatnot. And all of a sudden I get some random, and it was getting close to Halloween, wasn't it, Rich? It was around this time, like last year, I guess. No, sorry, 2018. And I just get a random like ping on Facebook Messenger, and it's this girl who auditioned for Lucy, and I opened it. She's like, sent this strange video of her like saying happy Halloween, and it was like she put some weird filters on, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's, you know, funny, whatever. And then she messaged again saying, I can see you right now, I'm outside the window. So me and Rich were like, went up to the window and we were like, what the fuck's going on here, man? Like we locked all the doors and stuff, and yeah, that was weird.
That was my terrible suggestion. I do apologize.
Was she actually there?
Yeah, she was. She wasn't.
I don't know. But yeah, that happened. But on set, no, it was mostly like, you had a couple of weird things happen, but it was mostly just so much fun.
Didn't we hear something outside just before she posted that? And that's what really freaked us out.
Yeah, I think that was, or a knock or something. But in terms of on set, everyone had just the most amazing time ever. Like we all got on like a house on fire, and as soon as those cameras stopped, everyone was just cracking jokes and, you know, talking about breasts and stuff.
I don't think any of us have ever played more card games in the space of 10 days.
Yeah.
We also had masters at Uno, Double, and
Double was good.
My favourite bit was when and we'd just done the dinner scene, and obviously it's pretty heavy. And there's this mess on the table, and then Adam calls cut, and then we go, Adam just walks up to this mess and goes, it's a cut, you can get up now, Cassie. It was just like, it was the best moment, because everyone was just like
wired from 18 hours.
Yeah, just like, what's going on?
Usually my jokes are unheard of, or I'm like just terrible with timing, but that one was heard, and I got a couple of laughs. That was all right.
Well, I think from then on, because it still had eyes on, I think you were the first, but everyone else since then kept going like, cup of tea, anyone? Yeah, you.
Cassie?
Okay.
Yeah.
It stayed on the table for a long time. We went in the morning, got our coffee, and sat down next to this mess on the table.
It was amazing. It was so good.
Had a coffee next to it. And,
yeah.
It was not good. It was horrible.
I loved it. Waking up every morning and just coming out the office. I slept in the production office. So I'd come out, just walk past the living room with a cup of coffee or whatever, and just go, "Oh, this is so awesome, man! It was wicked." Yeah.
So one of the questions that I do have for you as well is obviously it's screened tonight on FrightFest Digital and everything. Are there plans on the other side of coronavirus and everything? I know you guys have, I believe it's January that the movie's coming to the UK. Are you planning at least a limited run in the cinema or a run in the cinema, or are you going to go down that road as well?
I'd love to. I mean, I've seen quite a few films of our level getting into like The View and stuff. So I don't know whether they're kind of desperate for content at the moment, because obviously all the I don't know what the word is, like the A-lister kind of films are all pulled out again till May next year. It seems like the cinemas are desperate for content to keep themselves alive. So maybe there's an opportunity there. I guess we'll have to speak to Gil and see what he can.
Yeah, I think the world has sort of turned on upside down. I mean, we've lost like cinemas, like big chains of cinemas due to the pandemic. And again, like I say, we were very lucky and fortunate to be where we are because of it. And we're not saying that we got here because all these people were ill and things happened, but we do owe a lot of it to that. But now the cinemas are in need of help. So maybe it is about time that sort of the indie film level sort of stepped up and had the nuts, so to speak, to go and approach these people, because that's what we did to get where we are. So there's so many people as well commenting on how this film affects people as like watching it, especially with that scene, and to see that scene in a cinema like we did in Sieges. There were so many reactions that you sort of only live and dream for as an actor or a director, and it'd be great to see it in a cinema. But at the same time, I've been to the cinema quite a bit when I go to see films before the pandemic, and there's only ever about 5 people in there. So it's not the same as it used to be back in the 90s. So it's kind of going online now and VOD. So cinema would be great if you could get it in there. But I suppose we just got to wait and see what our distributors do. So
yeah, with cinema, there will always be certain films and certain things that you just want to go to the cinema for. You know, like seeing a film on a plane on a tiny screen, or seeing it at home, and seeing it on the big screen for the first time is just amazing. Depends on what kind of film it is, of course, but there's always going to be like a residual audience for that kind of thing. And I think that's really important, because people that love film and love like any kind of cinematography or anything, they'll definitely appreciate that, and they'll always be there. And it would be a shame if that wasn't available to them, even if it's an indie film showing once every fortnight. You know, whether it's ours or someone else's. I think that it would be like super important, because anyone that wants to learn about film, or people that have made films, or people that have retired from making films, it would be really nice if they just have the chance to see it on a big screen.
Totally.
You know, what you think on a laptop is not the same.
I do think you're absolutely right, and I do think that's something that's it's going to naturally happen on the other side of this, because we do need content. I mean, look at bloody Christopher Nolan kept putting that one back, and then it came out and didn't do anything. So
is that Tenet?
Yeah, so I think the cinemas are going to be screaming out for independent and low budget, and I feel like these movies are going to get more time to shine on the other side of this, and I'm super happy to see how this goes. I can't wait.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Oh.
Legend. Kev spotted a question. Did you say that your questions have frozen on the screen, or was that
the questions have frozen on the screen? So Neil, if you want to be my second in command, you can be the deck to my aunt.
And we now go live to the weather. Hello, welcome.
Gil's got an interesting one. That's quite a funny one about the caterer. So do you want to unmute Gil on that?
I can't unmute anyone just now either. It's
catering, yeah.
For whatever reason.
Can you do it in sign language?
Yeah, do it in sign language and I'll read it. Where is it again? Oh, here we are.
No, not Welsh sign language, English sign language.
You do the sign language and I'll translate.
A raff.
So tell them about
Tell them, boy. I basically sat there and catered for everybody.
Cool. I'm trying to read it.
Are you scared?
Tell them about how you scared Jason the caterer. I think Adam's a good one to announce this because he's the one that.
Before I tell the story, we should give a massive shout out to the caterer.
Yes.
Jason Twigger, right? Who is the best on-set caterer ever. So if anyone in here is planning to make films in the future or has an event or whatever that wants a caterer, hit up Jason because he's awesome. And his food is amazing.
He does weddings.
He does weddings, all events, all events. And his food is just awesome.
And he will do it at any time of night.
Any time of night. Anytime, any place.
Whether you're covered in blood or not.
Yeah.
But tell the story, Adam.
So Jason is like the loveliest guy in the entire world, right? He's just so lovely. Like he's got a bad bone in his body. And I went up to Rich and I was like, I whispered in his ear, and Rich is like, yeah, cool. So we actually caught this on the behind the scenes, which will be on the DVD when it comes out in January in the UK. So, or maybe a bit after that, I'm not sure. But so we come out into the garden, and Jason's on the phone to his mother-in-law, I think it was, and I'm sort of cradling Rich, like, guys, we need an ambulance, and everyone's like, what? I'm like, no, seriously, someone call an ambulance, and Rich is like, oh, and then basically just pulled his top to the side, and I'm like, guys, his nipples come out, and Jason was like really upset because he'd hung up on his mother-in-law and started calling an ambulance because he thought Rich was having a heart attack. It was it translates better on the camera when you see it on the behind the scenes, but it was really fun.
He didn't know for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, neither did you guys. Like most of you lot with this.
I thought, Lee's coming up behind, like cradling me and rubbing my back, going, "Are you all right, Rich? What's happened? What's happened?"
And then Sam at the other
come out.
What?
Yeah.
Can you read your questions yet, Kev? Or?
No, I don't know what's happened here.
You're
right,
fired,
here we go.
Kev.
This one's from you're fired, Kev. I'm just going to take over now. Not really. I'll hand it back shortly. This one's from Bethany Neighbor. She's basically saying her phone had died. She's asking, did you have any scenes that didn't work out how you wanted it to, or change from the original plan? Also, all of it. Also, who's the younger son, and how did you find him? And is he okay after the mum scene?
He was amazing.
Oh, buddy.
Initially, we kind of said to them, because he had a chaperone, which was his mother, and we initially planned to kind of take him out of the scene and almost like not CGI, but comp him back into the scene to make sure he wasn't exposed to any of the stuff. But spoke to his mum, and they'd seen like the prosthetics and stuff, and he was just like, "This is amazing! Like, I love seeing it all." And his mum actually came up to us and said, "Is it okay if he just stays in the scene, because he finds it really fascinating?" And he just had a whale of a time. He loved it, and he was just, I think that was his favorite part of the film. Like he had a really good time. He was incredible as well. They say never work with children or animals, and all the animals we had were dead and on the wall. But the children were very much alive and incredible actors, and we were blown away. We were kind of like, we just need a child. Do you know what I mean? We know they're not going to be good at acting, but we just need a child. And he was amazing. Like the way he expressed with his facial reactions and stuff just blew us away.
So good.
And yeah.
I'd worked with him on a project, another film earlier in the year before we started shooting, and like Rich is saying, when you're trying to find child actors, it's very hit or miss. There's several films over the years that there's either a really good child actor or there's a really bad one. And we managed to find a really good one, and I'd worked with him, and he was just so good with content. I'd already worked with quite mature adult scenes of like harsh language and a harsh subject. Actually, we've got another cast member in here, Joe Riley. He's in that film that we're talking about. But yeah, Buddy was playing a younger lad who I had a couple of scenes with, and I just said to the guys, look, he's brilliant. He's only 10, 11 years old, or however old he is, and his mum's incredible to work with and have on set. And I think we turned up on set quite early and weren't used for about 6 hours. And then they were still there, fresh faced, happy, chatting away to everybody. And that's what makes a set a good set, is when everyone's sort of not moaning and just gets on with their own job and is happy to sort of crack on with everything. So he came from that. And yeah, I mean, the end result shows exactly how good he is. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's how good Buddy Skelton is.
Yeah. And behind the scenes, like once he came out of his shell a little bit after, say, halfway through day one, he was beating all of us at Uno, beating all of us at double, beating all of us at Snap. And his mum was actually like also like really playing the game, and it was great to have him on board. He was just like a shorter member of the team, to be honest. He was great, and he didn't seem phased by anything. Maybe he'd be a bit tired, a bit hungry, but like at no point did any of us think he was like the kid actor. He was just one of us, and his performance was like so on point. You know, he's a professional actor in his own right. He's not a kid actor. He's an actor. Do you know what I mean?
So I've got another question of Daniel Maz. Guess what? I'm back online. Awesome.
Yay.
So I got another
unfired, Kev.
This is like
Unfired.
independent. It's like independent podcasting. It's amazing. You just roll with the punches. So yeah. So Daniel Maz is asking the question: were there any on-set pranks that anybody got an injury from or anything like that? Or I'm guessing there.
I think it's quite interesting to say. I mean, I guess it's technically a prank, but the whole dribbling on Nadia was technically a prank.
Hold on.
We put it in the script to see if she would go through with it, and she did. So,
they were expecting me to come,
Nadia
like, you know, they like sent out the scripts, and they were expecting me to come back being like, I'm not doing this shit. Like, what, dribbling on me? No. And I just like, yeah, cool, amazing. And then like Adam, I remember Adam and Rich were like, so did you read all of it? I was like, oh yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Did you read the bit in the attic? I was like, yeah, I did. It's cool. It's great. It's fantastic. So you read every single thing, and I was like, yes, I did. It's great. And I didn't know what they were talking about for ages until like I'll let these guys take over.
Well, we were quite phased that Nadia wasn't phased by it. So like we got Sam, bless her, to dribble on Nadia with this solution that, again, Kate Griffiths awesome, like made up for Sam to do it. The first take was fine, but we wanted to win. It was called Nadia Bingo. It was when Nadia would just kick off at everyone, right? So we were like, cool, let's do like 5 or 6 more takes of this. Like we did like 6 takes, and Nadia was like, yeah, fine, let's go again.
By the way, I wasn't in on this.
No, Sam didn't know. We were just like, yep, can you go again, please? And Nadia didn't. She didn't break. So fair play, Nads.
Did well.
Thank you, everyone. But the what injuries that happened on set, Neil?
There was no injuries on set.
Oh,
no injuries at all.
But there was. But yeah, let's talk about it. Why not?
What did you do, Neil? What did you do?
What did I do?
Nothing.
Whose was that question for? Who was that? Daniel Maz was that?
Maz.
Daniel
Yeah.
Maz.
Is he here?
Daniel's still in the room. I
He
don't know
is,
why I'm
yes.
checking if he's still in the room. I just want to make sure I'm addressing someone correctly.
I don't think we can see everyone on our screen, but is he here? Hello, Dan. Hello.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
not allowed to.
Yeah, there was a little injury. Yeah. So the scene with myself and Frank. Frank sat up there patiently waiting. I'm sure he can speak about being on the receiving end of this. The scene in the hallway with Frank at the end of the film, where I come out with the knife and straddle Frank, which I've got to say is one of the highest points in my career, is straddling Frank Jakeman.
I was worried you're going to make it hard for me.
It was extremely hard for me to work with such an incredible actor like yourself. But yeah, I did that 12-inch knife for part of the shoot was a real knife, 12 inches long. And the first the knife, not Frank. Although his book would tell us otherwise. I had to obviously straddle him with a 12-inch knife, and obviously, as you see in the film, repeatedly stab the poor fellow. So during the scenes that Frank is actually underneath me, I have a knife handle and a small foam bit of knife poking out the end. And obviously that scene's quite quick and quite blustery, and there's a lot of effort required. And when you haven't got an actual real heavy knife involved there, it's quite light, so you can get the quick stabbing like I did. And then obviously Frank was underneath with Kate's amazing special effects under and on top of his face and the blood in his mouth and everything. And then obviously that was done. I think you went to sleep after that, Frank, and then we just used
I went to sleep during it.
You went to sleep during it. Was that compelling for Frank? Frank went off to bed, which was one room next to us, for his quarterly nap for the shoot. And we got replaced with Kate's fake torso of Frank. And basically that had blood bags and things like that in. And I had the real 12-inch knife, which obviously at early hours of the morning trying to recreate the quick the quickness of the first takes. Mm-hmm. I had to stick that into a dense foam torso to get the same effect. And Rich was like, yeah, that's cool. We've got that shot from that angle. I'm going to try from this angle and do that. And by this time, I'm absolutely pouring with sweat. I don't know if you could see, I don't think you see my face in those takes, but pouring with sweat from just like, I can't do any more of this, because putting the 12-inch knife through the dense foam was incredibly difficult at that speed. So I was trying to match up, obviously, so Rich could cut between nicely. I misjudged it and stuck the 12-inch knife in my leg, straight in my leg, and cried out, "Fuck, it's in my leg," quite loudly, and then was taken by the incredible producers to one side, and with my pants around my ankles or my jeans around my ankles, with blood pouring down the inside of my leg, with a big gash on my leg. Just sort of going full of adrenaline, going, it's fine, let's just get the take, let's go back and do the other take. Rich, do you need any more? Rich was like, we don't need anything else, and then Adam comes in, bless him, man of the moment, came in, knelt down in front of me like he was going to propose, and held my hand and went, "It's okay, bro, I love you." And I was like, "I love you too." It was like a scene from the Titanic or something, like, "I love you too."
The tears ran down my legs.
You brought a tear to his thigh.
Frank was probably still lying on the floor at this point.
Frank, you just killed me.
Yeah. So that happened, and then there was a trip to A&E with Adam as well, and then we sat there together, sort of like a little married couple, I suppose, just sort of like zoned out because of like the shoot and the adrenaline, and then the guy sort of gave me one stitch. One stitch. It was he did say though, if it was an inch to the left, which is quite far, an inch, then you'd have probably died because it'd have been in the artery.
But if that was the case, we would have got that on camera and had a really cool death scene in the film.
And then we could have used
exactly. But that was the only accident or on set stuff that happened, and that was purely my own fault, because I was just too ambitious with that stabbing. I didn't want it to be the same as traditional Psycho and stuff like that. But
there's another small accident. I was going to say the producers were really amazing on this film and really conscientious and kept us safe. Like the whole team did, and obviously, like my character Eric went through the mill a bit with in certain moments, and everything was done spot on. But
you had it easy. You were just a diva.
The one time I did have an accident was literally 10 minutes after watching Neil walk into the Antlers at the end of the hallway, going,
"Oh no!
Sure, what's he done that for?" And it was just where we were so tired. I did the exact same thing, literally about 10 minutes later.
I think we all did.
And it was just like
there was a queue of people just walking into the Antlers.
That's why I gave it to Richard.
Those members of the cast that are shorter, there's an antler, but then anyone that's taller, there's another antler.
That's how Nadia gets her tears.
Yeah, that is exactly how I get my tears.
The magical antler corn.
But also, Lee, you had to, I mean, it's not an injury, but you had to get hoisted
Yeah, we won't give away the secrets of that, but there was a lot of sweat that wasn't mine involved.
So we've got a question from Joe here. Do you want to ask this question, Joe? You want to jump on? There we go. Let's go for it. Unmute.
Neil, at the beginning, you're driving a train.
Yes.
Did you actually drive it?
Do you know what?
He's brilliant.
Do you know what the guys, when we were filming that scene in the afternoon or the early morning, we got the train yard in a place just down the road from Rich and Gillen, the producer, and we basically got down there, and the guys were like, "Oh, what's it like? You're going to be driving a train?" And I've never really, as a kid, I was like, trains are awesome, like Thomas the Tank Engine and all that kind of stuff, and it was kind of on a bucket list back then, but never really thought about it growing up. I've been like too busy like trying to pay rent and stuff. So just like being in the train brought back a whole like childhood like memory for me, I suppose. And I did technically drive it, but I didn't. I did all the things that the train driver would do, but obviously it's a bit of a cheaty way, but trains aren't just driven by one guy. There would have been a random guy with me.
I went on a train like that, Neil. I went on a train like that to my last audition.
That says something because your wife's your agent. Let me come on, mate. Big her up a bit.
So the way that type of train works, the controls are mirrored. So
Frank, I miss you, man.
I know.
The controls on the train are mirrored. So
my career was left on that train.
One side will happen the other side, and so Neil was operating, but the other guy was on the other side operating, and it kind of almost. Do you know what I mean? He was, the other guy was in control, but Neil had the control at the same time. So it's weird.
Yeah. So they have usually like two train drivers on there in case someone falls asleep or has a heart attack or something. Then there's a dead man's plate and stuff.
Dead man's handle.
Dead man's handle. Yep. And all
Is that what you call it?
Dead man's plate. That's what we thought Frank was after the shoot. He was asleep in the corner. But no, I didn't drive the train, Joe. I wish I would have been able to do it properly. It's not like driving an Audi R8 around Silverstone or something, but it was something felt special.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be in the cab and pull levers. So,
yeah, it was really. I was really privileged to do that. It was it was fun, and it just looked great. And it just some of those shots that Rich did there at the start was the lingering train shots and
moving in closer to the wheels. That must have been quite scary, Rich, getting that close to the wheels.
Yeah. There's a shot when I'm running after the train, like, come back.
I like that. Yeah.
Thanks for your question, Joe, man. Thank you.
No worries.
I'm gonna throw Gillen in for a second because he's got something here about a prank, and I want to hear about this prank between Adam and Richard.
Prank between me and Rich.
Yeah.
I think that's the same question as the catering.
Yes, thanks for unmuting, but Neil's right. That was me just trying to prompt Adam to tell tell you guys about the
nip tuck story.
Nip tuck. Have you got something else to say, Gil, while you're on?
Well, Gil, I mean, this was my first film as a producer, and it's been mentioned before in this podcast, and I'm going to reiterate it, that it was a joy to work on it with these guys, and it was like a family. And I think that I didn't have to do a lot of my job because the team worked so well. And yeah, it was my first feature, and hopefully all the rest that I will do will be like this.
Gil,
it was fantastic.
Gil, can I tell a story about the Groucho?
Yeah, crack on.
You'll love this, right? I'll meet Gil at the Groucho to do the
You're name dropping again.
Yeah, we meet at the Groucho, right? We meet at the Groucho to plug the film, okay? So I'm meeting Gil there, but he's not there. So I go in the Groucho and I sit down, and there's a bloke with a mask on. And I say, you got a film? What are you doing? He goes, I've got a film in the thing as well. I said, oh, okay. Are you an actor then? He went, yeah, I do a bit. And then Gil comes in, sits down, joins us, and goes, oh, bloody hell, I love all your films. He took the mask off. It was Sean Pertwee.
You were around when his dad was around, though, weren't you?
I said, are you an actor? John Pertwee.
I thought, well, your era's John, isn't it?
Hey?
John Pertwee.
John Pertwee. As in
No, that's his dad.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why you didn't know who he was.
Got the wrong
Oh, he had the mask on. I couldn't recognise him.
Yeah.
But thanks for killing that story.
It's all right.
Fucking hell.
Ask you some questions about your fucking train.
I love you, Frank.
Well, I've got to say, like, turning up to set, like I was quite late cast into this, so I only had about a day or just over a day's notice. And I at the time I had it didn't look bad, but I had quite a bad burn on my shoulder from I fought the losing end of a battle with a kettle. So I felt like I was really, really, like turning up with a massive injury. I turn up to the railway station near where Rich lives, where we were shooting, and Gil's there to pick me up. And he turns up and he's got a massive cast on his arm strapped over his shoulder. And I'm like, friend, we'll be okay. Let's go get some plasters.
Just a couple of scratches, nothing more.
Yeah, exactly. And it was kind of like, okay, I thought I was in pain, but hey, honey, do you want me to drive you home?
Frank, can we say about the after the cut take?
Go for it. Yeah.
So Frank was just a legend on set, and it was just constant banter, and it was just really funny. But he was doing that scene in the kitchen with Cassie, with Jennifer, and they're talking. It's quite deep, quite emotional, and it's like, Cassie's adjusting a wig because she's, got the big C, and he's having this dialogue, and then we're like, and cut, and he's like, "Now get your tits out." And we were all just
and Jennifer,
brilliant. And Janet, yeah, she just started.
She played along.
I love the banter that Frank had on set. It was so good. It's so funny.
He's always that way. He's made every set that I've been on with him fun and laughs. I was on Invasion with him and Neil. And in between takes, it's nothing but laughter.
That really isn't.
That's why we got it on
it.
It
really isn't. Oh.
Awesome.
I just remember there's a little sort of, it's not even a scene, it's a cutaway where Jack and Lucy come in from the garage and go into dinner, but we come through the curtain. And before that, like, 'cause Frank and I hadn't really, we'd met, but we hadn't really spoken before. And before they called action, he just pulled my finger, and of course he farted. And then I'm like, okay, well now I'm doing a really serious face because I'm trying not to breathe.
That was your technique, wasn't it? It was just trying not to smile at Frank.
Frank, thank you for getting the best out of me.
I learned that at age 15.
So did I, Frank.
So we've got another one here from Daniel Maz asking, what was the hardest or the most challenging part of the filming and the acting for you guys? What was tricky for you?
Do you want to dedicate or direct it to us?
We will start with Adam, because this is kind of your first sort of foray into acting properly, directing, sorry. So we'll start with Adam. What was the most difficult thing for you?
It's a good question. Like, it was all quite, I think the hardest thing for me was, I guess, to be honest, dealing with the anxiety leading up to the shoot. So I work myself up in my head so much and get so nervous. And at the start of it as well, the first few days, but within minutes of starting work with everyone that day or night, should I say, it kind of just was really easy because we got on so well, and me and Rich had no issues, and me and him get on like a house on fire anyway. And going back to what I was saying earlier, we didn't clash at all when it came to the directing. So I think, yeah, it was a challenging shoot overall. There were some things that were harder than others, some days that were harder than others, but in general, there were a lot, I guess, a fair few problems that needed to be solved. But filmmaking is all about problem solving. And because we were all so close and tight knit, and there was no like, there was no hierarchy. If you're Gillen or Craig, the producers, it was like, yeah, we'll chime in. Or if you're the directors, we're like, we'll chime in. Or if you're a runner, we'll chime in. Everyone was doing everyone's jobs and pitching in and stuff, and it was amazing, man. Like I'd never personally worked with anyone like that before, and it was just great. So yeah, the hardest part was just the build up, because I always work things up in my head.
I think that was like the first day was the hardest for both of us, I think, because it's our first film. We're new to this, and
22 pages.
we were just cacking it, meeting new cast, meeting everything, and realizing that we're in charge of it, and kind of.
But also, that first day was 22 pages, wasn't it?
Well,
you said
I
we've
didn't
got
notice. No.
we've got to do that.
Well. She had, like she mentioned before, like she was cast last minute, and she had basically 24, okay, let's say 36 maximum hours to learn about 20 pages of dialogue
and get to Oxford
with a
lazy cow.
And she came in, she got to set and absolutely nailed it. She worked so hard on learning it all, and she delivered it perfectly, as you can see in the film, and she did great. So props to Sam.
You learnt it, I didn't.
Nadia, what was your most challenging part?
I think it has to be the attic scene.
The dribble.
Yes.
The dribble and the lick. Those two. No. The attic scene was really grueling. It was an intense emotion to uphold for 4 hours. It was probably one of the longest shoots, like hours, in terms of like sticking to a scene that we did, and it was really tough, and everyone was incredible and very like caring and efficient. But we were up in a loft, and I strapped to a seat like this, and not moving for about a few hours at a time, basically, and it was quite tough. And Lee probably agrees, like
100%.
it was a huge emotion to give there, and I think emotionally that really took it out of me, for sure. So I think that, I don't know, go Lee, you say.
So I suppose I've got 2 points to add to that. It was firstly, like Sam, I was quite late to the. I'm muted.
No, we can hear you well.
So I was kind of like last week as well, like Sam, I was quite late to the process. So that first day was, for me on set, was quite a lot, because it was the biggest scene. It was the table scene. It was my first day on set, so that was quite a big day, which was a great day, and it was amazing to meet the cast, and everyone was so welcoming. So we slipped into that really well, and it was lovely. But yeah, like Nadia just said there, for me, the attic scene, just to kind of pump out that level of emotion constantly for that amount of hours. And there was one point where I felt like, without being too kind of actory about it, I was hitting my best scene, and I heard some talking in the courtyard area, because it was like we were all shooting in a house location, so everyone was all in the same area, and I could just hear people talking outside, and I had to go, sorry guys, I'm really sorry, I've got to stop. Like, it threw me out, and it was just like I got really emotional, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I don't want to be Christian Bailey, I don't want to be that guy. But it was just kind of that level of emotion that me and Nadia were trying to hit at that time, and trying to keep that going. But I think that's just kudos to everyone on set, that we kind of wanted to hit those heights, because the level of talent around me made me kind of want to keep the levels up. Like when you're working with guys that are that talented, you don't want to drop. And when you feel like you're doing a take and you're dropping, there's that level of responsibility. You're like, no, I'm not doing my job here. And that's what kept me going, sort of kept me motivated, that the team were just brilliant, and they were just, the bar was here, and I wanted to keep up to that bar.
Oh, you did an amazing job, mate.
You did such a great job.
Neil and I were like both there in the background of that scene, and you and Nadia were both smashing it, like take after take. And the two of us were like obviously we're standing there watching, but we're watching with our jaws open. Do you know what I mean? The two of you gave it absolutely everything, and it obviously it's turned out really, really well. But so much respect for you, because we were up in the roof There were spiders everywhere. It was really hot. There was loads of noises. There was lots of screaming and crying, and I have so much respect for going for that.
Speaking of the rest of the team and everything behind the scenes and stuff, we also have Gillen and we have Craig Hinden as well, who are both producers on the movie. How did you guys find this? Was there a struggle for you guys, or
like I said earlier, the team worked so well that I didn't have to manage it because people were just getting on with it. That was for the most part the bungalow. I think for me as a producer, the most challenging bit was when we were shooting in the woods in January, and it was sub-zero conditions. We had actresses in summer dresses, so we're having to keep them alive, I guess. There was equipment freezing to the floor. We had generators dying. A smoke machine died. We were trying to do DIT in a car running off a transformer that I was afraid was going to fry the computer and just ruin all the footage. So I think that the winter shoot logistically and all that boring sort of producer side was the most challenging. But yeah, the team, I'm going to say it again. I keep repeating it, but I'm so pleased with how well it went, especially the bungalow. It was that was a joy, that bit.
The team made it really easy. The team did make it easy. These films are never easy on the micro budgets, and this was a micro budget, so time and resources are in really short supply. But working with Kate, and I know she's been mentioned before, obviously we looking at the script, you sort of as a producer you go through it and you're like, oh my god, there's so much the guys want to do. And Kate came in, and I actually think the one thing we were trying to work out was the gunshot when Frank gets shot. And we were thinking about how we were going to do it with an air compressor, like where we were going to get all this stuff from, how we were going to make this shot work in the limited amount of time we had to shoot it. And there was quite a few of us standing around trying to plan out how we were going to do this. And when Kate came onto set, she went, oh, no, I've got a much better idea for that. You just fill water balloons up with blood and throw them. And I was like, yeah.
The first one you threw hit me right in the goolie.
Doing that before.
Right in the penis.
Oh no!
Less than a pound to do, and I was like, it's the team. It's the team that make these shoots easy. So, yeah, I don't think any of it was particularly difficult as a producer because we had the best crew. We really did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Follow on from what Craig just said there, like. We all obviously had our individual roles, but the great thing about this is that I've never done an all-night shoot before, and for me, it wasn't about just our roles. It was people stepping out of the roles, and people kind of acknowledged when other people's energies were dropping, and they were there for each other. And really, like Craig said there, the key word there was team. We were a team, and we had to pull each other up when energy was lagging, and we were all in it together, and that was the lovely thing. And that was for me the special part of this whole experience was that it was a team.
Sure. It's one of the things that I've loved from the very start when I've been following you guys, because as I said before we even came into the room and I was speaking to the cast and crew and everything, following you from the very start, there has been a very family sort of feeling with this all the way through, from the early days of the live stream when you guys were trying to fund it and everything, right to now when you guys are hitting all the podcasts. It's just awesome to see, and it's fantastic. You guys have done something really, really special, and you should be proud.
We're all
massively proud.
We're all the best of friends now. We're all the best of friends. We are.
We're all the tits, isn't it?
We're all the tits, yeah.
I mean, half a birthday cake by the time on this podcast, on this Zoom, by the way. I'm going to have to go for a run in the morning.
Exactly. There's a feeling, sorry, that when you get on these kind of films is what you get that you don't get on a multi-million-pound budget film is that everybody wants to be there. Everyone has earned their place to be there. Yeah. Everybody is giving at least 110% at every part.
And no one cares about the money.
No one cares about exactly what Frank is saying there. No. I mean, I've worked with Frank on something before, and we're not there for the money. Don't get me wrong. We will work to a point where we can get paid for what we do according to what we do. As actors, it's whether you can get bums on seats. As directors, it's whether you can make a creatively genius film that will keep people in the cinema and watching and liking the film. But at this level, what Rich and Adam, and we've not spoken about this much, we've touched on it, but what those guys have put in, and especially Richard sat there, the hours and hours and hours whilst he's tried to hold down his life with his family and his kids. The hours and hours he's put in. I mean, don't get me wrong, as actors, we come in and we do our job and then we go. But the film stays with the directors, and Adam puts in just as much. But Rich is the man that's been sat there hours and hours in front of that computer screen, tweeting about things, editing, putting things together, making things work to the point that we are accepted into FrightFest and that we're accepted into Sieges. It's all down to those guys that put in that effort, and those guys put in so much work before the shoot, before the actors turned up. The producers as well put in that work before we turn up to do our job. And if everyone comes in and nails their fucking job, it's a pretty fucking simple process. And fortunately, even though it felt grueling at the time, it's a pretty simple fucking process. You write a script, you refine the script, you work through the script, then you go to set, you shoot the script, you then edit the script, you then put score to the script, the edit, sorry, and then you put it out there. And it's a very simple process. And a lot of people in the industry overcomplicate that. I need to wait for millions of pounds. I need to wait for this because this is worth more than this. No, it's not. What's worth its weight in gold is when someone like Rich and someone like Adam comes together with an idea, puts the fucking idea in motion, sits there, puts the work in, puts the effort in, gets the right cast in that have got the same work ethic, and puts out a film that has just premiered at FrightFest in the UK, and the response is incredible. And those people need a fucking round of applause for what they've done. Rich and Adam and Craig and Gil and everyone who put the stuff together, it's all about that. It's not about what you see on the screen. It's about the work ethic. It's about the people that care. And if you get paid £1 million to be on set, you've got £1 million in your bank, so you don't give a fuck. But we give a fuck. Sorry.
You're not sorry.
I'm not fucking sorry at all. The traditional Neil comes out. But no, it needs to be addressed because we're all looking at the final picture here.
We all know. It's like
and Richard's sat there now vaping away, and I'm looking at him going, that boy has given half of his fucking life for the last 7 months, 8 months, a year of his life.
Yeah.
And Adam has done the same whilst holding down a 9 to 5 job. It's a luxury to make films for the rest of your life, and these boys have fucking absolutely nailed it. It's taken 2 glasses of Melbeck to say this.
Yeah, and we're also trying to do our own thing.
Yeah.
Side of it, like you guys have tried your best as well in what you can do. So I think everyone has, everyone's been trying to do what they can do. But hey, 2020 happened.
I think everyone has gone above it. Yeah, I mean, it may have started with me and Rich, but I think since then, everyone, whether it's us or all the way down to the cast and the runners, like everyone has put so much more in than they had to.
And actually, I think, like you were saying, that we're all really supportive of each other, because actually, Lee, you had a short film that you wrote and directed, right? And it actually did really well. Didn't it get nominated for an award like last week or something, or like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
It's been doing really well. Come on, yeah, big it up, man.
Yes.
Come on.
I'll tell you what. Do me a favor. I'm going to quickly run to the toilet. Richard knows why. Lee, tell your story.
You not have a pint glass, babe?
Pint glass.
I'll take over as host. There you go. Hey.
I don't know what's going on now. Why do you
Welcome to the Nerdly 365
podcast. I'll tell you about the pint glass later.
I know Daniel Maz has got a question, so you've been unmuted, dude, and you're welcome to ask it.
Oh yeah. Where are you?
I think I already asked it. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
no, we can hear you, Daniel, mate. We can hear you.
Basically, the question I think was there any scenes that you messed up your lines on or kept laughing
that
at?
One. Okay, we got that one. Have you got another one while you're unmuted? Why not? You must have another one.
Was there any that the props or the gory stuff, was there any that made you feel sick or anything? And what did you do with the spiders on the set?
The amazing thing with that was when we were doing the dinner scene, so it was all shot like the first half with the, you know, the beautiful stories and, you know, Cassie's beautiful speech. And then we had a break before everything got real. And we came back in. I remember me and Adam walked back in and Kate had laid the prosthetics out. And I walked into the room, the dining room, and my stomach just went, ugh, because I saw what was there. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then Adam walked in and went, oh my gosh. And then, like I said, if you get the DVD, you see the behind the scenes of when Nadia and Neil walked into the room and saw what Kate had amazingly put on the table.
Yeah.
And their reaction is 100% real of just like, oh my gosh. And I remember the words that Adam said was, if we're responding to it like this now, how are people going to watching the film going to respond to this? Because this is pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Say one thing for me, the hammer scene is just pure fun gore. Like you got the eyeball and the skull and the mess and everything, and like everybody keeps saying, Kate's job was amazing on that. The bit that gets me and that made me feel sick was the stabbing scene, because that happened right outside the production office. So I'm in the production office working away, and I can hear this stabbing going on, and it sounded so real. And still, every time I watch it, I don't know how many times you've watched this now, but it still gets to me because it sounds so real, and that does turn me a little bit. The first one's kind of fantastical, but the second, like Frank's scene, man, that gets me.
Daniel, Sam, didn't you scared yourself a bit, and you're the one that had to do it. Remember that when they played tell that story. That's funny.
Okay. So all right. Okay. I had the hammer. I did the deed. Okay. I made Cassie flat. Anyway. So we'd done that scene. We'd finished it. It was like an hour later, and I wasn't needed in that scene. And it was the moment where Neil's character Jack actually drags Cassie's
body.
Well, drags Cassie off the table, so it sort of just goes like and like squidges off the table. Right? So like I didn't know that was happening, and I'd been outside, and so the lounge was where the whole scene was happening, and down the hallway in the kitchen is where the guys had set up like a monitor that we could watch all the playback. All the playback with from the camera. So I didn't know that this was the case. So I walk into the kitchen, having just had a break from hammering someone's face in, feeling a bit bad about myself. I walk into the kitchen and I didn't realize they were watching the playback on the monitor, but they were watching it in reverse. So I walk into the kitchen and I look, and there's this massive screen there, and I'm like, oh, great. Oh, this is the dinner table. This looks really nice. And there's candles and, knives and forks. And then this gigantic sloppy head just goes, and
you jump.
And I jump. And so apparently my natural reaction is to either fall on the floor or run away. At this point, I decided to run away, but the thing is, the door was shut. So like I walk into the kitchen, I see this screen, this thing goes slop, and I run into the door and just pat myself on the door and pretty much fall over, and I'm like, I'm okay.
I've got a semi insight here on set as well. Someone asked me on one of the social media sites why Eric eats the way he does. And I think it was Gillen who cooked the amazing Christmas roast dinner that we had.
Oh, great.
It was amazing. It was incredible. But obviously, take after take, those potatoes were going missing. They were going in my mouth. They were eaten. So we ran out of the cooked potatoes. So the take and the edit they actually used, where I go and I eat really quickly, that was a frozen potato.
Dude, it gets us every time. The way you just go.
Oh, I love it.
I've just got to get it down. I've just got to get it
brother.
down.
It is. So
it's
brother,
just
yeah.
so like.
There's a quick.
There you go.
There's a quick question for Frank from my mum, who was one of the investors on the film. She absolutely adores you, and her question is: every time you're on screen, she absolutely loves watching you and your personality shine through. How do you deal with going from such a fun, loving, like always cracking the joke, to the serious, upset, and emotional Michael in the film hosts?
I don't really know, to be honest. We were mucking about like mad on Invasion. Remember the van? The police van on Invasion?
With Vix, Nadia's
we
secret.
Were crying, laughing, and then Tony says action, and then we just start bursting into tears. I don't really know how I've managed to be able to do that, but I've always been able to just block it, and no matter how heavy you got to go, I can separate the two. I'm not one of these actors that needs to be left alone for 3 hours before he does an emotional scene. I've never had the problem with it.
Or uses up all their tears in rehearsal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I really feel similar to you there, Frank. As in, like, sometimes if you're really laughing about something, it's easier to suddenly dive into something sad.
Really?
Yeah, you even do those laughs that end in tears.
Exactly.
I've done that.
It's kind of, we're only human, and going method has its benefits and stuff. But sometimes if you're really, really crying, sometimes you laugh, and then the opposite way around. Or if you're really angry, sometimes then you end up being really happy about something. And
well, me and Frank
laugh and then cry in a scene when
Frank, you really kept me alive during filming all those little like hard scenes. You just made me laugh.
But it was night shoot after night shoot after night shoot, and you had to keep the morale up. You had to keep everybody up, and that's why.
That's what I was about to say. I was going to say, Frank, you and Sam just spoke there about how you can sort of draw out of it. I'm not the sort of performer that does. And what was brilliant for me was having people like you guys around, and Neil and Nadia, who helped me kind of snap out of that and get back out once I came out, because that's healthy. And having those sort of intimate periods with guys like you made my job a lot easier, because you helped me come to where you guys were at.
The thing is, Lee, I know what you're saying there, but what happens is that we're all there to do a job, and whatever we can all do individually to help someone else get the best of their ability out in the camera, in the can, we have to do that, and it's part of an actor's philosophy, or it fucking should be. Sometimes it's not. Is to be unselfish and make sure that everyone else gets what they need as well as what you need yourself.
Yeah.
And like just pretty much the scene that you do with Nadia in the attic. It required not only you delivering what you deliver, but Nadia delivering what she delivers. And it was the same for me with Nadia in the shotgun in the table scene. The lick scene, is that I can't do what I'm doing if Nadia's not giving me what she was giving me, and it would not be that scene if it wasn't for her. What you see in Nadia's eyes while she works, and the same with what she does when she's in the scene with you in the attic, and what you give her. It's we're unselfish for this.
Because of what it is, Neil, is that acting is interacting.
Exactly, and it's reacting.
There's nothing worse than acting with someone who's not giving you anything back.
Oh, you get them selfish actors, and you do get them that just don't look at you or look at your ear when you're doing the scene.
One of those actors that sees themselves in a mirror?
Yeah, people do. It's a common technique, and a lot of actors do it. And I don't think it's bad, because some people practice what they say in front of a mirror to see how it looks to them and how they're saying
I mean when they're on stage, and it could be as if they were talking to a mirror because they're not listening to you.
Well, that's the whole point again. Is they're so self-indulgent in what they want to do, and the table is a very self-indulgent scene before anything happens. Is every character is so self-indulged in their own problem, in what they want to do. Like Lee's character is fighting for approval from anybody who wants to fucking listen to him. Like Frank's fighting, Michael's character is fighting what's going on with the demons he has within himself that he needs to tell. Nadia's fighting with what she wants to do for herself, for her own thing. She doesn't want a relationship in this, and everybody at that table has that. And that's why no one notices what we're doing at the table or what we're doing when we go in the house. And that's a key point.
Cool.
And it's only conveyed when all of us doing that, and luckily and fantastically, we all did that. And the direction from Rich and Adam was key and prominent in all that. And that's how you make a good movie that people will sit through and enjoy. And again,
it's a superbly written scene as well. But Adam said on the last podcast that we spoke on that bits got taken out. What was kind of thing was taken out of that scene that you didn't think sort of worked?
Well, the table scene.
Yeah, I think it was just the dialogue. There was probably about, I'm going to guess there, around 8 or 9 minutes more dialogue that worked. I mean,
also, Adam,
yeah.
I seem to remember Sam shoving the gun at us and ordering us to eat, and we were looking at the plate and picking food up with hair and snot and shit on it, and like, yeah, and he cut that out. But I thought that was great, but it's not in either print that I've seen. I've seen it twice now.
Probably because I couldn't hold the gun straight because I don't have any muscles.
No, but it wasn't on you. You were ordering us to eat, so the camera was on the people eating. But there's all hair on the plates and blood and that.
I had snot
and,
coming out.
Yeah, and Lee had a big frog spawn hanging out of his nose. There was some great stuff going on.
Yes, you did. It was a bit. You guys did all licked all over yourselves.
There was some bits. I guess like that, like in terms of using too much and dragging it on too long. Especially in terms of dialogue, there was probably about at least 5 more minutes of dialogue that it worked in terms of family banter and how families interact. It totally worked, but I think it was just unnecessary, so that there was a fair bit that we took out, and we feel like what we were left with in that edit was perfect in terms of
it was
start to
absolutely
finish, but there's a few bits here and there, and in I guess I don't know, maybe 50 or 60% of the scenes that we cut, it just felt a little bit too just unnecessary. Yeah.
Sometimes I guess as well, less can be more. You just gotta hit that right balance, haven't you?
Yeah, for sure.
So going forward, you guys have had the movie showing at FrightFest tonight, which has been just amazing. To be fair, it's out over in America. You had your screening at Sidges. You had 2 screenings over there. What's next for everyone? What's everybody moving on to next, or are we just going to revel in hosts for a couple?
I've just signed a contract at Pinewood. I'm going to be the next Bond.
Yes, I knew it wasn't Tom Hardy. I knew it wasn't.
You kept that quiet.
But that's
the next bondage king.
I've got to shave the beard off. If I shave the beard off, I'll get away with 35.
What was that, Frank?
If I shave the beard off, I'll get away with about 35.
So is that 005 or 35?
It's 007 and a half.
I'll pay that. I'll pay that, babe.
There you go.
But what's
you on the red carpet because I'm playing 006, isn't it?
Oh, that's fair enough.
So what's
I'm recognised as a woman spy, but I'm still slightly less than the man. So
you can be funny, Fanny.
And that's why we use Frank Jakeman, because he's a legend.
Who women want to work with Frank?
Oh dear.
Try to be a professional interviewer over here, Frank. Come on.
He's been professional for God knows how many years.
Try to be the next.
I've got a couple of films that I'm going on to. I've got one which is a drama film, which we were supposed to shoot back in March, but obviously we've had to postpone the shoot because of COVID. And another horror film called Paramnesia, which I'm not going to say too much about because we're still developing that, but we're going to be shooting that in the next couple of months.
I feel like you absolutely should tell us more about that one.
It's another, it's another low budget horror film that centers around a few characters, all in one location, and it kind of deals with. That's difficult to talk about without. I don't want to give anything away at this point. It kind of deals with ideas on what happens in the afterlife and where we go, what we take with us, and what becomes our own personal heaven and hell. So yeah.
I think you've no. Nah. Okay. I feel
yeah.
Have you told me about this before? I feel like you've told me
Probably.
about this before. Yeah, I thought you had. Yeah.
Probably at the sci-fi weekend when I first met you and we were having a beer. Yeah, that one, man.
Where I was super pissed, but that was
Yeah.
awesome.
I've got 2 films. I've got
that
my
one.
next 2
Finally getting
films
it done.
lined up.
Finally, awesome.
I've got my next 2 films lined up. The next one I'm doing is called "If You Can Find Me, You Can Fuck Me," and then the sequel I'm doing after that is
It's a love
called I'm in
story.
the Cupboard.
What was that? Say that again, Frank. We missed it.
The first film's called "If You Can Find Me, You Can Fuck Me," and the sequel's called "I'm in the
You
Cupboard."
keep cutting out, Frank. You keep cutting out. You keep cutting out. Frank, you keep cutting out. Say it again. Say it again.
The first film. Yeah, fuck off.
Oh, well, I heard the first line. I'm not getting. Everyone keeps talking over your last
The
line.
first film is called "If You Can Find Me, You Can Fuck Me," and
Yeah.
the sequel comes out a year later, and that one's called "I'm in the Cupboard."
Are you coming out of the closet anytime soon?
It wasn't that
Cupboard.
4 times
Oh,
ago.
God.
I know. I just wanted to make you sweat. That
So, get back on your fucking train.
For anyone that's
I just need to say at this point,
upset with Frank Jamin is
I
like,
can't breathe.
Can't breathe.
me and Frank Jakeman are sponsored by Vicks. Just so you know, when you see him,
Yeah,
Vicks,
Vicks,
not
we
quite
are.
dead.
Yeah.
So is Nadia now. We've recruited Nadia to the.
yeah, I got that one as well on Invasion.
Yeah.
When it's like time, there's no need.
Me and Joe Riley, we do a scene in Invasion where we stand toe to toe in a corridor in a village hall and we just shout at each other for about 5 pages. It's brilliant. Am I muted?
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, Frank.
We've not muted you, Frank.
We're still listening if you have.
I'll mute you, Frank, ever.
So Daniel Maz has got another question there. I'll let you ask this one, pal.
Okay. I was wondering, basically, I like acting and stuff, but I've done stage work and stuff like that, but I don't have any videos of myself to send to agents.
Cool.
Okay, so what's your
So
question?
I was wondering any tips, like what I should submit to agents.
Rich, Adam, what do you guys look for when looking at tapes or stuff? Do you look for theatre stuff, or would you rather see film stuff on there from short films, whether it's
I've told you this before. I find it confusing because we're not agents. We don't know what agents are looking for.
Yeah.
But what we're looking for is
as directors.
Yeah, me and Adam particularly are looking for something.
You've got to have a show reel.
We're looking for something quite natural. Do you know what I mean? And something that's true to life. And if it kind of doesn't feel like that, then it's a no-go for us. If you know what I mean. And that's, you know.
If I just say, Richard, my wife's an agent. We've got 41 actors on our books now, and she won't take anybody on unless they've got a show reel and spotlight. And to get spotlight, you need, I think, 3 professional TV jobs or whatever. But you need a show reel.
It's one of those like kind of vicious circles like I've had as a DNS. You need to have TV work to get an agent, and you need an agent to get TV work. Do you know what I mean? So
it's not even that. It's for actors to get a TV credit, you have to have a TV credit, and it's kind of it is chicken and egg.
I tell you the truth.
I have to sleep with my agent to get a job.
Oh, fair enough.
You're sleeping with an agent, not an agent. That's the problem.
I tell you,
an alien.
Rich hit the nail on the head in terms of what we look for and stuff. But yeah, we're not casting agents. Unfortunately, yes. You know, as a casting agent, you know, you've got to hit a certain criteria or have done this, that, and the other. But for us, like, if we're casting for a film, like, I don't know how things are going to be moving forward because we're speaking to bigger people and have got bigger scripts on the cards.
You get proper actors now.
But if we have any control over it, and if I know us like I know us, then we're going to want to be able to cast ourselves, you know. And if we've got any power over that, then personally, I don't give a flying fuck if you've got experience or if you've done this, that, and the other or not, because I didn't go to film school. I'm not a director by trade. I just and the same with Rich. It's like Rich got into his craft learning on the job, you know, and putting himself in the deep end and being brave. And I've done the same.
That's
thing.
true,
Like,
actually.
you know what?
That's how I got
wanna,
it.
I want to.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's how I
want
got into brain surgery.
It's like some jobs. I think in the creative, like in the creative,
People died
world,
for me to learn.
whether it's writing, directing, or music, or acting and stuff, like whatever it is, I think if you put yourself out there and if you do the work, you don't need something on paper that says you are. And hats off to
100%.
all of you guys that have trained and stuff like that. But for us,
let me say to Daniel, just coming from an actor to an actor for you, with no holds barred here, mate. If you've only, so you've not got theatre experience, or you've only got videos of you. Where did you say?
No, I don't have any videos of me. I've just done like exams and stuff like that.
So you're through your exams. So all I can ever say to you, and I'm sure Nadia, Sam, Lee, Frank will back this up. Joe as well was in the room. What you need to do is, if you need to find a show reel that's footage of you in a film to send to someone, they're going to want to see that. So the task for you, if it's theatre, they're just going to want to see you in the room and act. Now at the moment, because of the way the world is, there's probably not going to be that much of go in the room and speak to casting agents. So from a realistic term coming at you here, is find a way, and that's your mission for yourself, is to find a way to get footage for yourself. There's so many avenues and options out there for you to either find a friend and then find a friend who videos to videos.
Or student shorts, people coming out of film school. Student shorts.
Yep, student shorts, anything like that. It's a task for you, because no one's going to hand it to you on a plate. And I'm going to tell you that now as it is. I've been doing it for 15, 16 years now. No one hands it to you on a plate. And I'm sorry if this is sort of a bit harsh of how it is you go get it yourself. And if I can tell you now to go and find it yourself and do the steps that you need to do to get it, you will benefit yourself a lot more in the future. So if you need to have a show reel, go and find the way of doing it. You can find someone out there excuse me, that will help you with getting together a scene where you're acting on camera. And if you do want to do theatre, there's people out there that will film you doing a sort of live piece of you just monologuing to a camera and make it look nice. Because don't send something that you've done on your iPhone where you've got no idea how to edit or grade it or do whatever. Send something nice and take a lot of time and care and due diligence of what you want to put out there, because that's all you have to put out there. I spent a lot of years wasted by thinking that I was everything was going to knock on my door. It's not. So be the best you can be and find people and burrow away to find the people that will help you, because there's plenty of people out there. Rich and Adam are the people that have given me a platform to do my thing on. And there's plenty of other people out there like them. And I'm sure that you will find someone that will be equally as helpful and equally as supportive for you. But you need to go grab it, buddy. You need to go grab it. There's no other way around it.
Yeah. Like Neil said, there, there's 2% of us that ever work at one time, and it's a very, very difficult, very impossible industry at times, and it's not easy and it's not nice. But like Neil said there, you have to find your platform, and you have to set your focus in a way that you want to hone your craft and you want to get better as an actor, rather than have the dream of, I want to be on the telly, or I want to be in Hollywood. Because if you have that dream, I don't think that's how it works out for any of us. I think you have to do the short films, you have to do the free projects at first, and you have to put in the apprenticeship. You have to put in the craft to learn how to do it, and that's how you get better, I think, personally.
Thanks.
You're well on your way.
Good luck, buddy, man. If you need any help, give me a shout.
Yeah, but all of that said, like, don't be afraid of doing whatever you're doing. Like, have confidence in it.
Yeah.
You know,
totally.
Like, definitely have confidence. Do what you're doing, and hey, if it goes wrong, fucking do it again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We all
You know, all of us have had rejects from auditions, and it's like, you know, we think we were half good, then you do it again and you're better. Like, just do it again and again, and it's like, don't be afraid of failing. Just do it and be confident with it.
Failing's the learning part. That's what you learn.
Let it fuel you. I think
yeah,
for me at least, like, everything that I've ever wanted to do is fueled by all the people in my life, including family members that have said, you're never going to get there, you're never going to do that.
Yeah.
Get a real job.
And it doesn't make you negative, it makes you more positive.
It makes you more
So
positive.
take a positive. Also, if you're going to film anything, moisturize. I'm not kidding. Dry skin looks really bad on camera. Just moisturize.
Take care of your appearance when you do it. Make sure you look the part.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, moisturize, comb your hair, I mean, moisturize, but don't be shiny. Like,
don't throw a hot kettle over yourself a week before filming either.
Yeah, fair enough. No, but in all serious, Daniel, I'd say like also try to surround yourself by people who push you forward as well.
Yeah,
and like that's the one thing that I learned when I was getting into all of this, because I had an agent at the time, but I'm not going to wait for someone to call me up and say, oh, there's an audition. Like, there's so many days in the year, and it's kind of like, no, get to it, make those connections, talk to those people. Who do you admire? Who do you like? What's this person like pushing out right now?
Yeah.
You know, do I see myself in their projects? You know, and get those connections. And I know it sounds really scary, like trying to connect with people, but everybody gets it, because everyone does it at all sorts of levels. So if we're like in the little middle lower ground level, like even the top dogs do the same thing. And this is what I say, we shouldn't be ashamed to try and promote ourselves, because this is our livelihood.
You should be ashamed.
I should be ashamed. I should be ashamed, but I'm not. And just don't care about what anyone else says. And I said it on a podcast the other night. Don't look at other people's successes either, because that can really affect you. Just think about you, your own path. You are your own person, and no one can ever be like you. So just go along in that motion forwards for yourself, not for anyone else. It doesn't matter if people disapprove. If that's what you want to do, then you do it.
Hail Nadia. Yes, Nadia. Yes, Nadia.
Sorry.
Does that answer your question? Does that answer your question, Daniel?
As long as you're polite and you cause no harm and you're confident, that's all you can ever do, right?
Also, Daniel, don't be afraid of reaching out to people, because Rich and Adam sat there and emailed people they didn't know to ask for, hey, look at our film, see what we've done. It's fucking awesome. Can you look at it? And they all did. Pretty much. How much of the percentage of people read those emails, Rich, Adam?
Many percentages.
How many percentages?
Many percenti.
How many emails did we send to distributors, Adam?
174.
174.
We just to give you some insight, Dan. We sat up all night, me and Rich, and sent 174 emails to 174 different distributors all over the world, and we're talking low level, top level, mid level,
and they're all written on human skin.
Yeah, and
people died.
We knowing that it was very unlikely for the biggest of the big to take a film on that didn't have any, no disrespect to these guys, but A-listers or big named actors and actresses on, but we put it in front of them because we had, and this word comes from Rich, the audacity, the message, the big boys, the big boys and girls, and say, hey, look at us, like put ourselves in front of them and say, look at us, look what we've done. And we won't say who, just in case, but we had some really big people respond going, wow, this film is incredible. We'd love to take it on, but we can't because it's too small for us in terms of there's no named actors in there, but you are now on our radar. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, everyone said it, man. I'm just reiterating what Sam and Neil and Nadia said and Rich, but it's like, if you want to get noticed by these people, put yourselves on that radar and put yourselves in those circles. And what Nadia said about surround yourself with people that inspire you and motivate you and that believe in you. And if anyone tells you you can't, don't let it knock you down. Let it inspire you to almost get revenge in a way and say, you know what, in a couple of years' time, I'm going to show you how it's done. Fuck you, man.
Like, Daniel, mate, as well. Just final thing, if like we've basically said it, Neil said it there. We're all on social media, mate. If you want any advice or anything, mate, reach out to me and give me a shout if you've got any questions whatsoever.
Yeah, to any of us,
we'll get back to you. We're a really, supportive team. So just give us a shout, mate, and we'll.
One thing I'd add to what Adam was saying was you absolutely have to have the audacity. Because no one's going to present you. You have to create it for yourself, but also keep honing your craft. Because if you have that audacity and you get in the room, you have to be able to deliver.
That's it.
Never stop honing your craft, because at some point it's going to come down to whether you can do it or not, and that is on you.
Totally.
Also, if you're sending in self-tapes and auditioning for things, even if you think it's wrong for you, sometimes it is handy to put yourself forward, because a lot of producers and a lot of people, a lot of directors that are looking through these self-tapes and going through a casting process, you may not be right for that particular project, but the more you keep putting yourself out there, as those filmmakers move on, they could be trying to solve a problem for a project further down the line that you are right for.
Yes, exactly.
You think, actually, do you remember that guy who sent that tape in was completely wrong for that part, but that's we could really do with somebody like that now.
Yes.
So like Adam was saying, you just put yourself on people's radar, even if you think if you're just looking through auditions and parts and you think, oh, maybe this isn't for me, maybe this isn't for me, just do it anyway. Just send a tape anyway.
It's amazing what casting directors will remember of you. I've walked into an audition for one thing, and then they've said, actually, can you try this for me? And so I've auditioned for something else in the same room at the same time because they had another project going on. And I know other actors who have been called upon by a casting director that they met 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Who remembered them and said, you're right for this role. I want you in the room for this role.
Exactly. And then there's also the other thing of remembering that if you actually get an audition, or maybe it's a self-tape if someone else is filming it for you, never forget that you're being recorded. So if you go in the room and you go like, hey guys, oh yeah, hi, I'm Sam, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just remember that you're being recorded the whole time. So if you screw something up and you go, oh, fuck it, I didn't like the script anyway, that's gonna be on camera. So like, don't say that. Always be polite. I mean, I've never had that happen, but a few friends of mine have been fired from things because they were like, what kind of a name is that? Fuck this. Okay, should we start the scene? And it's like, the camera's always rolling. So it's kind of like, hey, look, it's not like you have to fake it. It's just that you just have to be like, you know, Sunday lunch you, rather than like Monday morning you.
Yeah, remember auditions are interviews as well. It's not just looking for your acting ability, it's interviewing someone that you're going to work with and whether you can work with that person.
Exactly.
Do you know what though, Craig? I completely agree with that, but more and more these days is they seem to not care what you're like as a person to work with at the moment, especially with the climate. So it is. So I 5 years ago, it was all about getting in the room and seeing if you could work with someone and see if they could do the job. More and more, increasingly, recently, it's become more. Your self-tape is the first thing that they'll see, and if you don't nail it on that first thing, then they won't look at you again, because the more and more things are being cast just solely from self-tapes, which is becoming more and more of a chore to people,
Neil,
and actors.
Neil, what's happening? I find now is you do the self-tape, then the next thing is a Zoom, and then you've got it. I self-taped for a commercial last week. I had a Zoom with the director Friday, and I'm shooting it Tuesday. It's that quick now.
Is that Game of Thrones?
Now. No, it's a commercial.
It's Game of Thrones, Frank.
No, well done, Frank.
No, you completely. Frank's 100% right. 100% right here, and that's the thing is that you'll get that.
This COVID has speeded it up. The point I was trying to make is this COVID has speeded it up.
Speeded up the process. They're cutting out the middleman.
You don't have to get on a train, go to London, go back in for a recall. It's
true.
It's just a self-tape, a Zoom, and you're on the set.
But I'll be completely honest.
I wish it was like this. And when we get over COVID, it ain't going back. It was like this for now.
But
you're right.
You're completely right there, and I know you and Sharon are running the agency and doing all that, and I know exactly what you're speaking of there.
We've got 41 actors on the books, and we got 11 self-taping this last week. 11.
Oh, exactly.
That's incredible.
Exactly. It's incredible, and that's the point. But some actors out there, when you do a tape, doing a tape by yourself with someone, if you've got people around that aren't actors, sometimes it's a bit daunting. So the thing is now is what I'm saying is that when you tape for a job and when you perform on a job, it's completely miles apart, and I'm sure you'll agree with that, because you
absolutely yeah.
So if you're not so hot on the whole tapey thing and taping up for stuff, and you crumble under that. And I'm not gonna lie here. I crumble under self-criticism for tapes. So I get on the job, and it's great. But that point between that, it's a very, you used to be able to go into a room and go, "Hey, my name's Neil, nice to meet you," and they'd shake your hand and look you in the eye.
There's nothing better than meeting them in a person and only in the room, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But I think Frank's right. I think the world will change even once this is gone. I think this is great.
Frank,
sorry, I missed that.
Frank strippers
What?
are right.
I didn't hear it. Say that again.
I was just saying that you're right, that after all this, it will be more that way inclined anyway, so they can see more people. It's as simple as that they'll do it.
It's a lot easier and cheaper.
Yeah.
Find it a cop out though, but yeah.
No, you're right. You're 100% right, mate. You can't get that essence in the room of what the person's like, but they can see another 10 people in that time, and that's what they'll do.
Well, it just shows, it proves that what Rich and Adam did for this film for hosts is they found people that knew people and people that they knew to be able to do the film. So
Ben didn't cast them.
100%. Yeah, there was no casting director on this, and it's one of them things that's changing, maybe for the good, maybe for the better, or maybe not for some people. Do you know what I mean?
Right, guys.
Good question, Daniel.
Right, guys, we're going to start wrapping this up now. This has been absolutely awesome. But I do have one last question aimed at Samantha, because Nadia Lamin, someone on Facebook chat, keeps on coming at me with this question. Did you actually spit on her face in the attic?
No, top of her head.
Yeah,
no,
but,
the
like,
spit.
Was it actual spit? Was it actual spit?
I was like, what was the question again? No. Specifically the wording. Come on, I love Countdown. I love this shit.
2 seconds. Did Sam actually spit on my head in the attic?
Did she have the hump?
Why?
No, she hasn't got over it.
Yes. However, if it was my own spit is a separate question if you're talking grammar.
Oh, very good.
Also, no,
someone else's spit.
It was fake spit, but yes, I spat all over Nadia's head several times in the attic.
6 or 7.
God. If it was earlier in the evening, I'd have drawn that out for a long time. But hey, we've all been chatting for hours, and I need.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to start ending it here. You guys have all been awesome jumping on and doing this. This is completely different to anything I've done, and probably a little bit different to what you guys have done. I know you've been on there.
Sorry, you don't want me to spit on your head now, no?
Nah.
No, okay.
But I just want to salute everyone here, because you have made an absolutely fantastic movie. Everybody is really taken to it. I've been seeing all the tweets coming through on Twitter and Facebook and the FrightFest group and all that, and it's awesome to see. But Richard, Adam, I kind of just want to end it with you guys. Just, this is your baby. Adam, you kind of wrote the main thing, and Richard, you also wrote it as well. But this is your baby. It's taken you 2 years. You've got the movie out there. It's being shown virtually. It's being shown in the cinema. Even though we've had COVID, you guys you must be on cloud 9 right now, because the reception's been awesome so far.
Is there a cloud 10?
Yeah.
That's where we're aiming for, cloud 10. All right.
What's the question, Kev?
Just how good do you feel right now? I mean, the reaction's been fantastic. I know I was speaking to you earlier, Richard, and you seemed a little bit nervous about the FrightFest screening. And
yeah, like I said at the beginning, it's like I was very nervous because you never know what you're gonna get. It's like life is a box of chocolate.
Have you had a drink, Richard?
I've had 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I was nervous coming in because this is our home country and this is our home turf, and a lot of people have had to put up with our constant barrage of promotion for the last probably 2 years because we've been excited and posting stuff out even before we shot the film, and they've had to deal with that. So we apologize for that, but just waiting for the response, you don't want to kind of put all that time in and build people up and then them go, well, that was crap. Do you know what I mean? So it was quite nerve-wracking today, and to see the positivity coming out of it is is awesome, and we're really proud of what we've done and the team that we've got. There's no team like the one we've got, and everyone just pulled out all the stops and made Host what it is, and you know, everyone was just amazing. Just want to thank them.
Yeah, I can't really top that. I was going to say pretty much the same thing. And I touched on it earlier. It may have started with me and Rich, you know, but it certainly didn't end that way. And we may have written this story, but it would be nowhere near as good if these guys that you saw on screen didn't bring those characters to life, and then some. Like, and the few cast members that couldn't make it tonight, Jennifer and Buddy. Yeah, man, like that, and I would have said this if we had the pleasure of not living in a COVID-19 world, and getting the pleasure to say this in front of an audience at FrightFest, I would have said the same thing. Like, it's down to, I know there's a lot of behind the scenes and everyone's pitched in and done their job and stuff, and it's been a really difficult journey for us, but you know, we'd have nothing to sell if these guys didn't bring those characters to life, each and every single one of them. So props to them, because they're the ones going places. Like, so
we're all going places. I want to chip just last in just to thank. We started off with 31 people in the room plus, I believe, and I just want to thank Daniel, Charles, Benj, Matt, and Sarah, who's here till the end. I know we started at like 11:45 and it's 1:15.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you, and like on behalf of the cast, we couldn't be sat here talking to you if it wasn't for those two, Adam and Rich, for what they've done and put through the film and put into the film. So thank you on behalf of us. But yeah,
love.
Thank you, man. Both of you, brothers.
Love everyone.
Love to all of you.
Love.
I'm going to quickly unmute everyone, and we will have like just a last little bit. Just everybody can say whatever they want, and we can just finish up there. And this has been awesome, guys. Thanks for doing this. This has been absolutely amazing.
Thank you. And
thanks for hosting it, Kev.
Thank you, Kev. Like Adam, Rich, Neil, Nadia, and Craig, like recently, but Lee, Jake, Frank Jakeman. I called you Jake for a sec. Frank and Gil. It's really nice to actually see you guys like in the flesh again.
Sean's there. He's got to be up in the morning.
You can hear my voice.
Oh, you're just so dark. I couldn't see you. Sorry, it must be because you're so metal.
Here you go.
He's literally a
I'm goth.
I've got to be honest with you, Sean. Earlier, I saw you playing the old guitar there. That was pretty slick. I like that.
I was just like, hitting some bass notes by just chilling.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm just
how he rolls,
super
man.
talented. I'm just gonna strum out a new melody for a new, blockbuster. That's fine.
Yeah, just write the next theme.
Sure, man. We all need to have a catch up once this is over. I miss you, buddy.
I mean, he only made himself some shoes out of tape. I mean, the man's talented.
There's a quick story for everyone in here quickly that whilst on set, Sean literally made a pair of shoes out of gaffer tape and basically just wrapped his feet in gaffer tape to clip all the blood and shit on the floor.
Good.
And they were really
Shawnsees.
And they were
Shawnsees. Yeah.
I've got actual footage of those Shawnsees as well.
Footage.
I mean, they are supportive yet comfortable.
Yeah.
The reason I had to do that though was because I was walking down the blood trail, so I brought socks to last me for 2 weeks. And I used them in 2 weeks.
One pair.
So,
It's funny you saying that because I had May's
You're
pants
talking
on.
to the man who has a duvet that looks like a pizza. And then it's not because it's dirty. It genuinely is printed like a pizza.
in that van. So I had no socks left, so I had to make something to protect my feet while walking down the blood trail to get the shot.
Well, it worked.
Legend.
Joneses.
Absolute legend.
Oh, Sean.
My battery might die, so thank you for having us all on board if it does cut out. So
It's been awesome.
Oh, Lee.
Good to see you, Lee.
Love you.
I'm going to start wrapping up there, but are we all going to go to bed tonight and look for Neil under our bed is the question.
I do that every night.
I'm there in spirit.
Getting to bed
everybody's there.
disappointed.
The problem is he's always there.
I always go to bed disappointed when Neil's not there.
If it was 2 weeks ago, I was always at Rich's house, and he always woke up to me with a lovely coffee. So yeah, we didn't leave when it was Twitterthon time.
Big love to everyone for coming on, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the support for the film.
Thank you for,
Means
thank
a
you
lot.
for hosting this.
Thank
dude.
you
Really
so
appreciate
much.
it.
It's been great. I have to say, it was
Thank
great.
you, Joe. Thank
Really enjoyed it. Very tense. I was tense throughout, and congratulations. As another actor, I've got to say that I know how hard it is to get from script to release and distributed and screened everywhere. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Joe. Means a lot.
Joe's been a constant support of everything from the start.
Mum as well. A final glass to Mum.
Ah.
To Bum.
Mum.
Mine's empty.
You got a drink?
Got nothing. The funny thing is, I'm back on set in 2 hours.
Oh, Shorty. Make sure you tape up your
Break a leg, dude.
Have you got the Sean Ayres released?
Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's gone.
No, he's gone. He's got a metal video to shoot.
Right.
Trevor, thank you for joining, dude. Thank you very much.
Trevor, legend
Thank
for all the way to the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just keeping you up now.
No, we're keeping you up, man. You're like,
Oh, honey, do you think any of us actually sleep?
No, not
Say goodbye.